Y'all want to hear me sum up my emotions this movie in just one sound?
Yeah, sure. I have an idea. Just
close, but coming out the other end, it's.
I thought it was gonna be Clark, and then, or in this case, Kara.
Or bibbity bobbity magicy boo. I don't know.
God. Your soul.
I'm going to roll into introductions so we can get to picking this carcass apart because this movie robbed us all of 2 hours of our day. So hi, everybody. Welcome to the extremely hate-filled, likely angry and passionate, also apathetic and soul-crushing review of Supergirl of 1984. I'm Connor McGraw. Who else? Actually, I'm Connor McGraw, and we have a guest from the Phantom Zone group. John's here. Jon Scott. Say hello.
Hi, guys. This movie destroyed my brain. Hope you enjoy.
Arlen Harrow, as usual.
Erik Fedorchak, the shell of a man.
You're in the third spot, Erik. You should be so proud of yourself.
I know.
And Lou Gonzalez, and I would like to summon the shadows and say, "No wire hangers." That is all I can think of.
It took me until Arlen mentioned it for me to realize that Faye Dunaway was in this movie because I was so bored with everything coming from her. I was like, I don't care. I just kept looking away.
This is insane because you don't like. It's not even just her. It's Peter O'Toole.
Yeah.
Mia Farrow. Why are you all here?
Mia Farrow's there for a scene.
I mean, you can get a pretty awesome ensemble cast for some pretty shitty movies. Look towards Frankenstein Unbound from Movie Dumpster, where John Hurt and Raul Julia share the screen together, and it's boring as fuck.
Yeah.
Raul Julia also did Street Fighter, so...
He did it for his children.
And he also was riddled with cancer.
Exactly.
It's weird because you can see the DNA of the first Superman movie and where they were clearly trying to copy themselves by casting Peter O'Toole as sort of the big father figure character, sort of in the Marlon Brando.
Well, you just came up with my first issue. Why is he some made-up character, not just her dad?
Right. Why not? Yeah, exactly.
As Arlen pointed out, his name doesn't even work with Kryptonian conventions as far as we know it.
No. It's like generic sci-fi name.
Yeah,
he's Zaltar and a million other things.
I was more bothered by him in the opening scene because I mean he's just like, oh, I don't have the thing. Throws it to Kara. This is really all his fault. He deserves everything he gets.
By thing, do you mean the ball or do you mean like the spinning dildo wand that he has?
Okay, yeah,
I mean the ball, but yeah, it's also that.
For the love of God, can someone please explain to me what the flying fuck was going on in this opening sequence? Because it took me 2 minutes before I was like, I'm lost.
I don't remember.
Was it Krypton?
No, it is Argo City, and it's supposed to be like Kandor.
Right, it's a bottle city, and Zoltar, Zaltan, whatever his name is.
The Academy Award winner Peter O'Toole.
Exactly.
Zoltan,
who at this point is not drunk in the film, traps them in another dimension, kind of like Series 8 Doctor Who. So,
which they don't explain any of this, but yeah, it's supposed to be Argo City is the capital of Kandor. Which I think in the comics Brainiac bottle
is also in the Supergirl show. I could be wrong. I thought they introduced it recently.
Last season, at the end of last season, which
we didn't watch. Yes, during those.
So they introduced a city made of shower curtains. Okay, cool.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe when protecting yourselves from the vacuum of space, you should probably up the budget and not settle on wax paper.
I thought it was cellophane.
You can make artificial life with your red magic dildo, but you
guys
can't
built
make
a
windows
castle in space.
Before if they're like, oh wait, help me, I'm getting sucked into space, wouldn't it just be, oh wait, my head's in space and you're dead?
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
Well,
You're dead.
Exactly.
In outer space, they're in inner space.
Fuck's sake. They're inside.
Joe Dante would have done a better job with this than whatever this guy did.
I need to bring up one scene or one shot before we leave this beginning part. It has to do with the weird sexuality of this movie. He straight up has the wand, is spread eagle playing with a glass mosquito.
I think it was a dragonfly.
It's a dragonfly, but it's like spinning dildo thing, and she's literally like her legs are completely spread in her very nightgowny outfit.
Oh
'Cause
yeah.
This movie has a lot of weird sexual things going on.
This movie
Also-
is horny and creepy, and it has
Really
very.
quick before we leave this opening scene, did you
Oh,
guys
please.
notice the some of the shots just look so unbelievably shaky, or was that just
Mhm.
my? I wasn't
No,
sure.
they-
No, it was bad. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if the cameraman had too many drinks to get through this, or if it's just the shakiest crazy I've ever
I mean,
seen.
let's not
I don't-
rule that out as a possibility.
I think it's more a case he didn't have enough drinks and he had the DTs going on.
He had too much cocaine that morning.
That, and the one last thing we need to point out before we leave the opening scene of plot establishment, quote unquote, was
Right.
was Zoltar's amazing sweater.
His Cosby poncho.
Yes, his
What?
Cosby
I
poncho.
literally think Peter O'Toole just saw a surfer on the beach in Venice, California, and was like, "Give me that outfit."
Give
Yep.
me that.
What is Zoltar supposed to be to this movie? Like, what is he?
He's a father figure type person.
He's like
what is
I
What-
guess
what's his job?
space
to-
wizard.
Fire
he's the-
Kara.
he
to-
created that place. Was
Yes,
the
he
impression I
definitely-
was given.
He definitely created it.
I mean, he causes all the conflict in this movie. He loses the Omegahedron, which leads to Kara going to Earth, and the Wiccan finding real magic, I guess, or
Well, he doesn't
Is
just
that what
lose
he's
the
supposed to
Omegahedron. He deliberately throws it to Kara. Kara
Right.
decides to play with it, and then technically, like, this is all his fault.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
mean-
then he like that thing goes out the window, and he's like, "Oh, off to the Phantom Zone with me."
I know.
Bye.
Like,
It's like, oh, I guess you won't have me around anymore.
oh no!
Oh, and the
Tom
effect,
Clare set up things later on, which is just
the effect on that. I'm not gonna call it Omega Hedron. It's a yo-yo. Like it just looks like holding a yo-yo in their hand.
yeah.
And
It was
it's
like
spin-
Indomitable. Like
Yeah.
it's just
It looks like the glowing thingy from Guardians of the Galaxy.
so
did.
all right, we established that everyone in this city is an idiot, and they build their walls and windows out of plastic. So Supergirl is talking to him about like flying off, and he wouldn't survive the pressure of whatever. So all she does is like, all right, well, I'm just going to get in this thing. Like no explanation, no
Well, he
discussion
talked
whatsoever.
about it for like a minute, and that's when he yells about her. Like, is she studying her sixth dimensional calculus or physics or something?
I completely zoned out on that. Then I just blanked
Oh,
out.
I only bring it up
Like,
because the sixth dimensional physics or whatever comes back in a really dumb way later on.
yeah.
Wow.
When
No,
that,
Oh yes, it does.
I totally missed that. I totally missed
Yeah.
that. So
yeah, I
she-
missed that in the opening. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's when he has like the classroom of all the weird kids, and she sits down, even though she's 15 years older than all the other students.
Yes, I noticed that as well.
I
She's
literally
in-
thought that was Elf. She's a human that came to Krypton, and no one told her she was a human.
Which, how old is this character supposed to be?
God,
It's
Um,
troubled me for the whole movie.
Well,
I'd
that,
say at least in her like high school years, maybe early 20s.
Yeah, because when we
Well,
get
what's
to
that
the
school
picture,
also?
he's like 35.
Yeah.
well,
yeah.
if she's supposed to be like in her early 20s, then she's sweetly retarded based on the way it opens up with her just like
But, like, not even
making
currently-
a dragonfly and like I can do this.
like not even like when she's on Earth, it's like, oh, you can kind of get her being naive, but like she's a dummy even in Argo City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all right,
Damn.
she hops in the special orb, and which I gotta admit that scene probably cost them a bit, just seeing them actually
Right.
floating a full grown woman inside of this thing over all these people.
Why
And-
did it look like she was sitting on inflatable beach balls, and then the thing just kind of yeah?
I think that
well,
was
John, we
that was her
can't prove that they
costume.
weren't beach balls.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be her costume, I think, because when she's getting into it, you see her move it a little bit, and you can see the traditional red and blue and a little bit yellow.
Oh,
I
you mean
yeah.
the first magical costume change?
Oh well,
Yeah.
that's after she goes through all the wax being poured into oil. I guess she's basically flying through a giant lava lamp to get out of Argo City.
I was like, oh no, bad photo negative effects.
Yep.
Just flying
Yeah.
through the tunnel from Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Helen
this movie
Slater
had
was-
no which way could not know which way it was going.
Well,
Yeah.
Helen
it's-
Slater was 19 at the filming of this movie, or at least when the movie came out.
Okay, but that's so
Okay.
confusing because, like, I don't know how old Jimmy is supposed to be. Also, Jimmy from the Superman films is in this, and
Well, that's the connect it. This is the
yeah,
this is the Donner CU.
And
Although at this point,
because Christopher Reeve was supposed to make a cameo, but it turns out he wasn't available because he probably read the script and was like, nope.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He read it and goes, I'm not available. What are you doing? I said I'm not available.
I'm doing time after time. You shot that already. It came out.
I'm going to ride the horse, okay?
That's why you see that that shot of her, or I'm going ahead a bit. That's why you see a shot of her looking at Superman in the dorm room. That's a promo shot from Supergirl with Christopher Reeve in it.
You actually bring up a huge point. Before we leave Argo City, they bring up, Earth, that's where my cousin lives. How do they know this? What is the history of Argo City, and how do they know where Superman is, who Kal-El is? Like, how do they know any of this?
Later on, she knows that she knows his secret identity later on. She knows that he's Clark Kent. How would she know that? How in the world?
Because Superman goes to that particular lake and yells his secrets at it. That's what his mother taught him when he was a child. To get rid of his secrets, he has to yell them at large bodies of water.
There is a point. There is a point when we get to hear what Superman is doing during this movie.
Right, and he's gone to space.
Which then led me to a very humorous thought of, if Superman returned during the events of this movie, I imagine he would react like this. Like, okay, hold on. Who are you? You're a witch? You've been here the whole time.
Okay, I need to tear apart this. Why in God's name are we putting magic and wizardry in a Superman, DC, whatever? God,
they're not actual witches and wizards. If the Omega Hedron hadn't shown up, would they be doing any magic? Or would they?
I mean, they've confirmed to themselves, I'm a witch, I'm a warlock.
Well, it seems like they have something, as he brings later on the, like, African wand of voodoo, like...
Which was racist as hell.
It's like the only mention of anything of color in this movie.
Yeah.
There's legitimately no one that's not white in this movie. I looked.
Yeah.
This podcast is more diverse, just because I'm on it.
Yep. Why do you think we found you? You check every box.
So getting back to the plot or the structure of the film, so she's flying through the photonegative effects in the giant lava lamp, and then we cut to I forget her name already, the terrible witch and
Selena.
Thank you, Selena, and her warlock boyfriend eating a ridiculously decadent picnic on a tiger rug.
Oh yeah, Nigel. I think his name is Nigel, right? Because we have to give him
You mean Steve Coogan in disguise or something? The fuck? The whole time he was like, meow, yes, I'm British man. Meow.
I love how nobody gets last names in this movie, except for two characters. That's it.
I feel like they told Nigel, just you're British. Well, how should I act? Just act British. Just be as British as you possibly can.
Talk British.
And act really snooty because you're eating on a goddamn tiger.
Exactly.
Who may or may not be that guy who turns into a tiger. We don't know.
So then the dodecahedron lands in one of their bowls of soup or whatever.
I thought it was like a bowl of hummus and drips on this very...
Okay, hold on. We're glossing over some really critical logistical failures here. When something enters the atmosphere at that kind of velocity, it should burn up on re-entry, and even if it's indestructible, it would become a fireball, and it wouldn't gingerly land in a fucking cup of hummus.
Can I poke a hole in your statement, Connor?
Sure.
That's if it was coming from outer space.
Exactly.
This is coming from inner space.
Exactly.
You. How's that?
Exactly. Very good, Lou.
Lou, you are an actual wizard.
You go fuck yourself. I hate this movie.
And that was the other thing I didn't understand with that is so she gets the magic ball, and all of a sudden she realizes, oh, I can do magic with this, like real magic, and drops
picks that shit up, and she's like, oh gosh, and just starts fucking chanting. I'm like, how do you know what this is? How do you know what it does? Yeah. How do you know what this is? How do you know what it does? How do you know what you think it's going to do is going to happen? What are you doing in general? Oh, and by the way, who the fuck are you?
Right. Well, that's the thing. I think her first line is like, oh, like, I want to take over the world. I think that's her first line in this movie.
It is. Oh, she talks about how beautiful it is, and she says something about taking over the world. But yeah, it's essentially her first couple lines of dialogue, which nice way to just cut straight to the point. Like, we wouldn't have been able to figure that out with the tiger skin rug and the decadent white people lunch.
Hold on, I thought her goal was to control the minds of all men.
Yes, she says, I found the quote, I'm considering nothing less than world domination.
Yeah.
I'm just, you know what I'm thinking of? There's like two people on a canoe throughout this entire scene, and all this shit's happening. Like Supergirl pops out of the water, a ball comes floating from the sky, and they're like, "What the hell's going on?"
Nope, just got a canoe. Not this is pretty normal events in Illinois.
Keep on canoeing.
Or wherever we are in this. Where do we take place?
Exactly.
It's in the greater Chicago suburbs.
Then why is she flying over horses? Jumping ahead, why is she flying over a field of horses that looks like it's from Montana?
I don't know.
Well, when we get to it, where the fuck does that coconut come from?
I don't know.
But that's like an hour and 15 minutes from where we are right now.
That is a lifetime away from this.
The answer is sparrows. Sparrows.
Oh God, I was.
Don't drag a better film in this discussion.
I will drag a better film into this discussion if I need to. Yeah, I don't know. Should we talk about Helen Slater? I guess because she's actually like a positive in this.
She's the only bright spot in this whole movie, and I am so happy she went on the better things like Smallville and Supergirl, the show.
Yeah,
she was acting for everyone in this movie.
Yes.
Like it was.
She had to carry Faye Dunaway, Mia Farrow, and Peter O'Toole on her back. She gets all the credit in the world.
To me, I feel like Faye Dunaway knew the movie that she was in.
Fair.
that's true.
Yeah, fair. That's fair.
Okay,
kind of like new.
Faye Dunaway is full on what's it called? Marlon Brandoing in Twilight Years.
Yeah.
The person
She's chewing that scenery very hard, and it is enjoyable.
The person that's the biggest problem is the dude. When we get to him, because
Right.
he is like a black hole.
Guy,
We haven't gotten there yet because she hasn't laser beamed a flower into blooming.
See,
That was.
My thing with that performance, that whole scene where she's discovering flying and her powers and what Earth is like. She just
You mean how she
she
spends 30 minutes fucking about while there's stakes?
Yeah.
Are there stakes, Ocon? Are there really stakes? Like, let's be honest.
I mean, you tell me. I don't know what this movie's about.
It's about one woman's journey to bone a gardener.
Exactly.
I mean,
a gardener
I
who
get that much. Anything larger than that, I just
and
don't
that's
know.
like not even joking. That's at least like 75% of the plot.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna get to that gardener in the very key scenes later on because oh my god.
Touching on her just flying around and sleeping in the forest, after she disappears from Argo City, her father is saying, without the dodecahedron, the city will cease to exist in 2 days. So she decides to take a nap with some rabbits.
Oh yeah,
I mean, Argo City time is different from Earth time. I don't know.
Good point.
Over several days because she sleeps there.
I just appreciate all her flying scenes. Looks like the director's like, all right, this imitate a bird. Just look at the bird.
Oh my god! Clap your stupid arms.
There are a ton of times when she just spreads her arms out. And I don't understand why.
Yeah.
No one does. No one ever will be able to understand because anyone involved with this movie was shot.
Well, I mean, this was produced. It was produced by the guys who produced the first three. It was produced by Sakand.
Yeah,
but they also the first one is really amazing because Richard Donner did it, and then the second one, the good parts are because of Richard Donner, and then they kicked him off because he didn't.
I gotta say this: I love Jerry Goldsmith. I appreciate him as a composer, but fuck this score.
Yeah, this
score is garbage.
It's bad for 98% of it.
The opening theme, I think, is just some of the worst I've ever heard.
The opening theme is 4 other themes trying to exist over the other.
I do think it's pretty good when she exits the Phantom Zone, but that's much later on. That's the only point where I was like, this is actually pretty kick-ass. But otherwise, it's pretty bad, pretty laughable.
It's hollow. I don't know how else to describe it. It's it doesn't have any sort of depth to it.
It's Jerry Goldsmith took a lot of Xanax and was like,
It's shitty synth music for a lot of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I will not lie. I passed out for 10 minutes after she woke up with a rabbit, and the next thing I remember happening was her talking to the 2 truckers. I don't know if there was anything of real importance that happened in between there.
Look, let's just establish it right here. Everyone is allowed to admit that they at some point walked away from this, fell asleep during it, took a shit, took a shower, went for a walk. In my case, which I took a shower and then went for a walk to think about some decisions I've made. This being one of them.
I kind of did like step out of this. I was watching something on PS4, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna play God of War because that's a much more fun experience. than anything I'm doing
At the
right
hour
now.
mark, I was already playing Injustice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So nothing important happened.
I'm trying to remember. Was that this? Did she sleep before or after the softball game?
That was before she sneaks in and she meets Principal Danvers, which
The
the
bird scene was before she went to the school. I think the nap was before the school too.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's the scene
But
that
this is also the moment where we get to look at the evil lair and meet Selena's wacky sitcom spewing roommates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they live in an abandoned carnival ride. Like, what exactly is
have
it?
a whole.
Not only in an abandoned carnival ride, in an abandoned carnival ride with a skull on it. That's how you know she's evil.
They live in like the haunted house ride of like one of those carnivals like travels to your town like once a year during the summer.
Yeah,
or maybe that's just
state fairs or whatever.
Ugh.
All right, this is the part where we're on the perv scene because oh god.
Yeah.
Matt Frewer comes out and Matt Frewers it up.
Max Headroom gets real rapey.
Well, they straight up are going to rape her, but it's like she literally says, "I'm Superman's cousin." They're like, pull out a knife. It's like she said she's Superman's cousin. Why? What are you doing?
Well, beyond that, she just threw a man who he probably only weighs 15, 20 pounds more than her. It's Matt Frewer, but dude pulls out the knife. She melts it with laser eyes, and he's still trying to assault her.
Like, you want to play tough, huh, girl? Like, okay, do you not see the S on her outfit?
Her line is like, she says something like, "My mission is to I have a mission to come here and do something," and he's like, "Well, our mission is to have some fun, and you fit the bill," or something like that.
Yeah, and then they go like, "It's just who we are." I'm like, "Oh my god, we just really admitted that."
Yeah, you guys are like the cousin of Buck from Kill Bill.
Kind of in a way, like not the rapiest scene.
Yeah,
I want to know how much meth they were on that they made this decision. Like, you see someone wearing
this was like bad cocaine in London.
No, there was meth in Nazi Germany, so
Hitler was prescribed it. Yeah. It just how much bad like bathtub trucker meth were they doing when they're like, oh hey look, there's somebody in a Superman suit, let's go rape them.
Better question. What the fuck are rapists doing in a Supergirl movie? First of all,
I don't know.
Well, we did get a Superman rape scene in Superman 3. Like, there's like two kind of rapey scenes in Superman 3.
I mean, I think this was the scene after it finished. This was the first time I walked away. This was the first time I had to walk away and think about every life decision I've made.
This is one of my first quotes from my wife. Oh, 80s film. I forgot about like when people could get raped in movies.
Yeah.
You kidding me? Charles Bronson wouldn't have a career if somebody in one of his movies didn't get raped or murdered.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh God.
That's true. And it was, wasn't it, what's his face from Jurassic Park?
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum was the one. Yeah.
Yes,
he yells something like, "I hate white witch bitches," something along those lines. But anyways, that's a different path to go down. Was the next part where Supergirl walks behind trees and makes clothes appear?
Yes, there was one brief moment where Selena had a party and they were like, "We need to pay the rent." I don't care about the party.
Yep. Yeah. Well. No more rent. No more this. No more that. Yeah. Because their power and water bill is late. Something along those lines. Like their
parties.
And she pulls a Kiefer Sutherland on that one girl. She fucking makes her think that she's eating a scorpion or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Scorpions, they taste good, don't they?
That was the thing. Like, I feel like they try to establish early on that like Nigel actually does have magical powers, and that's the only reason Selena has glommed onto him.
And then Nigel, like, I remember, I literally put this note where he's trying to flirt with that blonde girl, and it's just like, I know what really gets the ladies going: amphibian anatomy. Let's talk about a frog.
Yeah. So,
do we have the writer of this movie on hand somewhere?
I wish. Let me see who wrote this thing.
A well-trained dog.
David Odell.
Okay, well, he's a fucking idiot. All right.
Oh my God, this guy wrote The Dark Crystal.
Okay.
Whoa.
And Masters of the Universe, and No Strings from Tales from the Dark Side.
Oh no.
He won an Emmy for outstanding writing in a variety of music program for the Muppet Show.
Shut your goddamn mouth.
Masters of the Universe makes so much sense, by the way. It makes so
Yeah,
Masters of the
does.
Universe makes sense. Dark Crystal does not.
No.
Yeah, just because there are so many elements that are in both films, actually.
Yeah.
Oh wait, he wrote Running Scared. That's a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the Paul Walker one?
No, the one from the 80s with Judge Reinhold.
Okay. Oh, so the Paul Walker movie's not bad either.
No, the Paul Walker movie's great.
Yeah, I did look up the director of this too, and like I think he directed what's that?
Well, he directed Jaws 2 and Somewhere in Time, which are both
Oh,
good.
and who can forget Santa Claus the movie?
Right. Everybody's favorite film was Santa Claus in the title, right, guys? Right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then he directed 2 Rockford Files TV movies and a bunch of like TV shows.
Did you guys notice when she flips her over, the blonde girl, her skirt only falls down from the back, and we get like her ass in like granny panties 3 or 4 times? And then when they cut around, then her skirt later on is like completely down. There's
I don't remember that. I think I was seeing red out of this point.
I'm just gonna point out all the weird, like there was a lot of weird sexual stuff again in this movie that was like, I don't understand why this movie is so horny as it is.
You know what I just saw that's also a piss poor adaptation of the source material to an offensive level? Watch the movie Dumpster was Dragon Ball Evolution. That movie like weirdly horny too.
I'm so sorry to watch that, Connor.
It's your fault.
I know. I was the one who suggested it in the first place on that post.
Yep,
so.
and then Sean was like, haha, look, someone requested it. We have to watch it now.
I'm so sorry.
And then me and Joe are just fucking cursing you quietly.
Film directed in an episode of season 3 of Columbo, which I will be watching here very soon. As a result, I need to see this.
I'm trying to think. So if we want to jump back to the movie, I think the next thing is when she goes to the school and she meets Danvers and makes up her name by looking at a poster of Robert E. Lee. Again, there are no people that are not white in this movie.
You mean the very confusing sequence where she integrates herself into a human environment whilst having no previous experience on this planet?
But we also we don't forget, we jump over when she sees the softball game, her 6 outfit changes or whatever. Which how is she doing this?
I don't know.
How is she changing the color of her hair? Like that's my biggest one.
That doesn't make sense to me at all.
Just like no one questions that she's there until she gets to the principal's office and they're like, ew.
Well, even
the principal's just popping a shit ton of pills too.
Yeah.
He's like talking to himself, like he's gonna like shoot up the school or something like that. Like,
well, that's so. This is ostensibly set as a all-girl school, correct?
Right. Yeah, this is like I think they say it's like a prep school.
But why is there a male principal then?
I wrote it
down too. Why is there a male principal who can just walk into the girls' dorm whenever he chooses?
Well, that scene is ridiculous.
Oh my god, man, run!
Oh, you mean when the girl is just in her bra working out?
Yeah.
Like not a sports bra, just like a bra, and they're all kind of under 18 because it's like a high school prep school thing.
Well, gotta get the titillation to get the guys in.
Like we meet Lois Lane's cousin or sister, whatever.
Lucy is in like an established comic book character.
Yeah.
Like she's appeared in a bunch of stuff. She's been in Smallville. She's been in Supergirl. She was in the first season.
So they pulled one thing from the 2 things. Sorry, because I'm forgetting about Julie.
Well, her name Linda Lee is a comic book thing too.
Yeah,
and that was her first alter ego.
Speaking of Lucy Lane, Demi Moore was supposed to play her, but apparently she bowed out to make the film. I don't know if anyone's seen it. Blame it on Rio.
Oh,
no.
Wait, the kind of young
Michael Caine one.
The Michael Caine one where she's underage?
Yes.
Oh wow.
No.
She dropped out of Supergirl to make that movie.
Well, there's a lot of similarities with older men hooking up with underage women.
Yeah, I don't know if she made the right choice or the wrong choice.
Look, you can't win them all, all right?
It's like what's the lesser of 2 evils? Creepy Michael Caine, shitty comic book adaptation.
A chance to work with Michael Caine. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, there we go. Exactly. So touching back on the scene with the principal and when he left the room, this was something else that bothered me quite a bit. So we've already established that somehow she can magically integrate herself within human society. How the fuck did she understand English? Like the human language.
Well, they're speaking English from the beginning.
No, but I mean writing it. I mean,
Well, she
writing
also
it.
writes a letter in 10 seconds, which is
That's
fine.
what
But,
I
like,
mean.
she writes
That's
a
what I
letter
mean.
of recommendation from Superman's alter ego, which, again, how the hell does she know any of this shit?
Exactly.
How does she know how to spell anything? She's
How
not
does she
from
know how to work
Earth.
human machinery?
Well, the problem is
Exactly.
they don't establish and state to any rules because she both knows how to do everything and knows nothing. Because she doesn't know what a coconut is. She doesn't know what kissing is. She doesn't know what a tree is in the beginning or a horse later on. But she can use a typewriter and type
She also can just pick up field hockey. No problem.
And then there's
Wait.
this weird comment by the principal who's like, "Oh, you're an orphan. Don't think you'll get special treatment." Like, was orphans treated weird in this city or in this 1984? Like, what?
Orphans were a popular trope. Think about it, like Punky Brewster.
I guess.
well, it's
and-
also a comic book thing where everybody's an orphan.
Yeah, it's also
Everybody's
a Japanese
parents are
RPG
dead.
I know
thing.
this
Yeah.
principal seems super condescending towards orphans in general, so I don't know.
Well, he's also popping a shit ton of pills. Oh, and this is where we get our tie-in to everything because random Nigel, the mage or whatever he is the math teacher and is like, "Hey, can I talk to you? These kids nailed my drawer shut."
Right, as a distraction for Supergirl, it seems. I don't know how to read that scene.
So,
Just 'cause.
on that note, if you lack the situational awareness to allow a bunch of school children to take a hammer and nail each of your individual drawers shut, I think you're the problem.
Wait, are you assuming he was serious? I assume that was like he was.
Oh
trying
no,
to help
I thought that was him being serious.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that's being serious.
Yeah, I
I feel like,
assumed
I feel like if he's a wizard, couldn't he just be like underneath the desk, just boop, oh look, it's open.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing.
Let's try, you little cunts.
I assume that he did a spell. He blamed the kids so that he could give her time to do the thing. Because
Well, he doesn't know that she's.
they
Yeah.
haven't established that yet.
they do say he knows though. He says,
Well, no, he knows
Mine-
Supergirl's around. He doesn't know that she is Supergirl.
Yeah, because
"No, I mean,
remember
they
later on
kinda
in the
say
movie,
that he does though." So
later on in the movie, though, they established that they didn't know that
Yeah, nobody knows.
her alternate persona and Supergirl are the same person.
well, that's Faye Dunaway and her sidekick, not him. They never really reveal when he knew or.
But I don't even know if they reveal if he ever knew. Because the only one that kind of knows is like douchebag Gardner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
god, is this where we get to douchebag Gardner?
Okay. Yeah, we gotta
yes.
get to him.
Yeah, well, we see him when she's like watching them at the school before she even integrates herself.
Oh, we get to him when Linda Lee goes to class, and then she X-ray visions through the wall to see them in the car, and then basically this is when I'm super horny. I need a dude. Kind of plot point takes over.
You mean
Oh,
that's
yeah.
when it becomes the plot?
I need
So
now.
she chooses the guy who is the asshole in the Die Hard film.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
what he is?
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
Yeah, he's Ellis.
I did
Are
not
you
know that.
just now realizing that?
Oh my god, I did not know that.
Hey, hang
How
on.
did
Look at
you
the fucking beard.
It's just me and Eric who realized that he's Ellis.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hans, booby.
Tara, Bubby, I'm your white knight.
See,
I'm
kept
your wife.
Supergirl's like,
I kept looking at him and be like, oh, he looks like oh my god, what's the South African dude that was
Oh
in
yes. Yes.
yeah, he looks like he looks like him. I was like, oh,
He
it's like a
does.
terrible
I've always
black
thought he
haired
looked
eye.
like
So
Elvis,
I kept
actually.
looking up a bunch of notes before this, and I found out I think John Travolta was supposed to play this.
Yes, I
character.
saw that too. John
Oh,
Travolta.
God.
It would have
You
made
know,
more sense.
I can't tell if that would make this better or worse.
I mean, I'll be honest. I like this guy now that I know it's Ellis because I'm just gonna make Die Hard jokes the whole time, and I'll be happy.
But his accent, like everything about him, makes no sense in this world because he's like when we get to him. So if he's old enough for Faye Dunaway to hit on, he's in his 30s, right? Maybe late 20s.
Yeah.
I mean, this is about what? How many years? Like 6. A
So
few
he's
years before Die
alright.
Hard. So yeah, it's 84.
I need to do
Yeah.
math. He was born in 56. So how
Well,
old
he's
is
62 now. So yeah.
Yeah, he'd be 30. So underage.
Gross.
Yeah. So he's 30 and she's like the actress is 18, but she's
Well,
in like
okay,
a prep school.
In his defense, however, he gets roofied.
Yes.
Yes.
But it doesn't
Yes,
matter later
to the
on.
point where
Yeah.
he wanders down the middle of the street.
Also,
Just
are we on the part?
aimlessly.
Are we on the part with this baseball scene now, or softball, or whatever it is, or are we still on the?
I think that
Right.
happened already, kind of ish.
Well, okay, so I do want to address like the bullies who like go after
Oh my god.
yeah, and who
I just hate
The
the one
shower
part
scene?
where-
Yeah, the fucking the
Before we get
Canker
to that-
sisters is what I'm going to call them, because they are so Ed and Eddie-esque.
Yes.
Before we get to that, though, there's this one part where the girl's just like, like, oh, this person's like retarded. And I'm like, I don't appreciate that word. Go fuck yourself.
Oh, my wife laughed at it. She's like, oh my God, it's been so long since I've heard that in a movie.
Yeah,
I heard that word. I'm like, oh, I hate you. Fuck
I've
you.
been watching a lot of iDubbbz recently, so that word is very present in my life right now.
Oh boy.
I'm trying to remember. Has she met Lucy yet?
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
met Lucy.
Okay,
and she's
because
like,
did you know Lucy's reading a Hulk comic?
yeah.
I did not notice that.
Yeah,
That's
she's
great.
reading an Incredible Hulk comic. I was like, that's a weird, yes, it's a comic movie, but you picked the other company?
Is that while
What lazy
Kara's
pe-
putting the? Is that
Steve,
while
look,
Kara's putting on the bra over her?
No, that's later on. This is when she goes and touches Superman, which my wife was like, isn't that her cousin? Why is she like eyeballing him like she's DTF?
Exactly.
Why did I don't know if you heard when she does the Superman photo, I heard like snippets of the John Williams score, and I'm
I
like,
did
no,
too.
no, how dare
Yeah.
you, no.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
it's like
you know.
they took the picture for like the movie poster, right?
No,
Basically-
it was a production still from Supergirl that when Christopher Reeve was attached to it, but he had to bow out.
No, I mean the actual poster is from like the poster for like Superman or Superman 2, right?
No, it's actually a promo shot from Supergirl when Christopher Reeve was supposed to be in the movie.
Oh, so they took a separate like photo for that poster.
I guess
They
so, yeah.
probably did like costume tests and stuff.
Oh,
like
Yeah,
that.
or like a production still, like, hey, Superman's gonna be
Yeah.
in our movie, get hyped.
It's kind of like if they just stuck a picture of Nicolas Cage on the fucking door with his Superman suit on.
Right. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
still
make
like
this
that
movie
and bless that
Infinitely
documentary.
more entertaining.
It's exactly the same as that. That's what that's like. Yeah, it's like if in the next Batman movie they use unused footage from Zack Snyder's Justice League cut or whatever.
God, wouldn't that be a fucking thing?
That would be interesting.
Snyder Cut
That would be
exists.
something
Snyder
Warner
Cut
Bros. would
exists.
fucking do too.
Hmm.
Where's my footage? Your footage? We repurposed that shit a long time ago.
Apparently, Zack
We can
Snyder is
just-
doing a bunch of director's cuts of his movies that aren't Justice League.
For charity.
Yeah,
That's
showing
all I say.
Yeah.
So what comes first, the field hockey game or the shower scene?
the
Field
shower.
hockey, then shower.
Yeah.
Because again, these characters are supposed to be under 18, and we're doing a shower scene.
Well, we don't
I-
see anything really, but still, why a scene? Just
But again, this goes into question her vision. So she has X-ray vision, and she can heat vision, like stop it and then have it go on and heat something else
Okay.
further
well,
into
that's
the
not
wall.
the only thing. It goes through a wall. It doesn't.
Okay, no,
put
no,
a
no.
hole in the wall.
It does not go through a wall. It
Yes,
goes
it does.
through a film transition. Okay?
Yes, it
Fire
does.
two lasers across the frame, and then in the next frame, which is a different location, lasers track across. There's no sense of direction or where these lasers are going. She literally eye lasers a film cut.
I mean,
Well,
she
this
could
isn't the
probably
only
take on
time they do
Darkseid
that.
with that ability. I mean,
Yeah,
she can-
exactly.
Yeah.
Movie so
This movie's
much.
fucking bad.
And we're only like a half hour into a 2-hour movie at this
Oh
point.
god, it felt like half of my life went by to this all going on.
Oh, this is also, I will point out, this is like the beginning when I was like, oh, that's some random advertising. And then like I was like, by like the
Frosted Flakes.
the Frosted Flakes, the A&W vending machine.
Yep.
So here's the thing: going on to the girls that pranked him in the shower. Don't they all go to the same school? That was my question. Because it looked like they were in the same
Yes.
uniform.
Yeah,
Oh, well,
they
not
do.
just that, they were on the same team in the field hockey game.
So
They were
why
trying to
did
peg Lucy because it's the 80s.
These characters are never seen again.
I'm trying to
No,
remember.
it's-
I think it's when they're on the field or something when they say a comment about somebody. Oh no, when they're in the classroom when people get pissed off about Kara being smart. My wife, again, to quote my wife, "Oh, girls can't be smart." There's a fucking message.
Yeah, the room laughs and everyone just adjourns. Like they're like, ha, ha, "Girl knows math. Class dismissed."
But okay, this actually goes to Arlen's point. Like
numbers?
this is when he gets the computer printout. He's like, wait. How did you know that? And she's like, oh, this is the payoff from before. Oh, I never really got 6-dimensional physics until like right now.
Mhm.
And that is the payoff for that mention earlier.
The mention that I totally missed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Getting out of the school, is this when dopey, creepy, diehard guys wandering around the world at this point? And
Yeah.
No. This is when he
One
goes.
random part where she's preparing a potion and she grabs a
Yes.
spider that makes that noise.
Into a walnut.
God, that was so dumb. Oh God.
And then she's calling for Bianca. She's like, get the door. But then she doesn't. And then this is the first shot of her showing off her legs in her first of 7 kimonos.
Yeah.
Which I kept being like, why is she in continually more and more Asian kimonos? Like more and more dragons and tigers.
The movie turns into Faye
I
Dunaway thirsting after Ellis, and then Ellis thirsting after Supergirl, and it just...
I appreciate how we're not talking about the wacky sidekick that has sitcom baselines yet.
Oh, she is my favorite character. Like in this entire
She doesn't
movie.
have a purpose except the fact that she's like, I'm just happy to be here. I got nothing else to do.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, she says like, oh, why don't we...
Whatever.
She's
I read
there
this
for...
book about like witches, like we can start a coven and everybody pays $5, and that's how we're going to pay for our bills.
Yeah, if
She was there
Selena
so
is
bored.
if
Probably.
Selena is Mike Seaver, she's essentially like
Yeah.
that's what the establishment
Okay,
is.
this character's name is Bianca, and she is played by Brenda
Vicar. Yeah, Brenda Vicar has been in a billion things.
Yeah, I know her face.
Oh my
but
god,
I
she's
just-
Johnny Bravo's mother.
Yeah, she did voices for like the Spawn cartoon. She's been
Oh
in
my
a million things for forever. She did voices
Somehow
for
being
Smurfs.
Johnny Bravo's mom is more dignifying in this movie.
Oh,
She's gonna be
1,000
in
times
the-
more.
She's gonna be the new Tarantino.
Yes.
Oh,
she
really?
is.
In a 1990 episode of Columbo called Murder in Malibu, just so you all know.
Oh wow, it's not Teen Wolf you're talking about? Okay.
No, this isn't a CW show.
I think she's too old to be on Teen Wolf, honestly, because, yeah, that...
Although I would not be surprised if she showed up in a CW show.
I wouldn't
I
either,
mean-
honestly. I
Hey,
could see
Helen
them.
Slater is. She's Supergirl's
Yeah.
mom. And
Yeah,
that's
they
after
could-
she
they-
played Superman's mom.
They could pull her for Supergirl very easily, or even just have her do a voice of something in
Mhm.
Supergirl at some point.
Yeah.
All right,
You know what?
so
Grab Faye Dunaway.
Oh,
yeah, might as well. It's not like she's
But I-
doing anything else.
but my favorite part of this, her roofing Ethan, is that she puts the thing not in water, but in Schlitz. I just started laughing hysterically. I was like, why does she have Schlitz?
Is this before or after
Because
Nigel's
it's in the Midwest.
stupidest thing of all time?
Which is the stupidest thing. 'Cause
No,
it does me.
when Nigel's like little raincoat, whatever that is, that everyone makes fun of.
Oh no, this is before that. That comes
Okay.
later. Because that is when my favorite line in the entire film is uttered.
God,
Yeah.
it's so much of this washed over me. Like I know I
I'm so
watched it,
tired
but
already.
I don't.
I
don't
at some
remember
point,
it.
like I turned back because, like I said, I think at the hour point, I turned on my Xbox and started playing Injustice. Like I looked back and she's fighting I don't know, Galactus, the magically sparkly thing that Shujinko gets duped by in Mortal Kombat Deception. I don't know what the fuck she was doing. She was fighting some screaming thunderstorm.
Oh, I
Oh
think
well, that
where
was
I
Oh,
heard
yeah.
that was later.
break was when-
Yeah, that's much later.
When she...
That's like
think
40 minutes from now.
Whatever. Yeah.
I think right at
Yeah.
the second break was when the direction of the scene when he got like roofied was like, okay, this whole thing is gonna be like if David Lynch did a Scooby-Doo episode.
Oh, I think you were right. I think she
I would
knocks.
pay top dollar to see that.
He passes out, and then the doorbell of their haunted house starts to ring. And my favorite line is, she's like, "Oh my god, if it's the goddamn Jehovah's Witnesses again!" And that was my favorite line of the whole movie. I legit was like, "Oh my god, that had to be someone actually took some effort and wrote a joke into this." And that's when Nigel's wearing his awesome leather leisure suit, and then when she gives him like herpes on his face.
Yeah.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful. So
Only disgusting moments in this film. Just
I don't even know. There are parts of this film that's like kind of rom-commy. Sometimes it's like then it goes straight horror film for like a good 20 minutes.
right.
I felt like they had a weird, bad comedy about witches trying to fall in love with a mortal and
Yeah.
having schemes to do it. And then they're like, oh, we need something to supplement this. Supergirl. Let's put superheroes in it.
Yeah, you're right. There's a good chunk of this movie that's that Bette Midler Halloween witch movie.
Hocus Pocus.
Hocus
It's the
Pocus.
exact same shit I said. I'm like, oh, this is Hocus Pocus now. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
you,
yeah,
can
then
see, you can see the staple where they just put a picture of Supergirl atop.
It's a little cardboard cutout. They're dangling in front of the screen.
Yep.
But this is when Ethan decides to bumble his way out of the back and travel through the haunted house, and then somehow gets into the middle of town.
Right.
Town
I-
question mark.
I did think because I know she put a spell on her where it was like
City
you're
of
gonna fall in
Townsville.
love with the first person you see or first thing you see.
hmm
And at
The
some
first
point, I was
person
gonna,
you make
I
It's
was
the first
thinking, I thought it was going to be like it was objects, so I thought he was going to look at his truck, and this whole movie was going to become my strange addiction to the movie.
God damn it.
He's going out and buying a new muffler.
This guy just the rest of the movie being lobotomized, and that's basically it.
Yeah, I mean, so at some point this movie turns into Maximum Overdrive.
Well, before we get to that though, like
Skipping over the kids are go to hang out at Popeyes.
Yeah. To go to the cool kid hangout, Popeye's chicken.
Which,
And
if you notice, the billboard outside of Popeyes didn't say anything on sale. It just said, "Love that chicken." Love that chicken.
This is where I really noticed all of the advertising. I was like, oh,
Yes.
there's like was it STP or whatever, the oil company? There's like a ton of advertising in this.
Yeah, there's Popeyes. Yeah. There's Eve cigarettes, which were I guess, competitor with Virginia Slims. There's also, and this is the part where I was like, oh, this was a Hollywood executive saying, like, we got to pull the broads in. So they're advertising Stay Free maxi pads.
Oh my God.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay,
Yep.
so it might be a fictional company though. I haven't looked it up. But it
No,
might
Stay Free.
No, Stay Free is a real company.
Okay, but
it's real.
The cigarette one.
Eve is a real one, as far as I know.
Okay, because
Yeah.
is that not Faye Dunaway on the billboard? Am I wrong?
I didn't
I didn't notice that.
Oh, but this is also, so this is when she goes to pull out the thing that she put the orb into, and it's stuck, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Yeah,
this is
Yes.
This is also when I noticed, everything that is around her has giant tits. That like dragon statue that she pulls out has like the weird skull goat head, but also has giant tits. And then I kept noticing every other thing in whenever she has her lair has giant tits. And I was like, this is a really weird motif that they're going for with this character.
This is the first
You
female.
see, the subtext here is boobies.
Uh-huh.
This is the first female-led superhero movie, and what do we do? Goat tits.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Also, okay, so that's the other thing. The magic that they do in this movie, outside of the mechahedron, whatever it's called, the ball, the magic that they do in the movie, it's like it's really lame, and it's not even like close to accurate.
Oh, you mean when she talks to the magic mirror on her phone?
Dunaway is a sorry excuse for a witch in this movie.
Oh, yeah. She yells at her mirror, and then they can see stuff, and her buddy's like, oh, maybe the connection went out. We should call the cable company.
Yeah. So, she lights a cigarette with her finger, and she makes a woman levitate upside down, and she turns food into a scorpion, and then she can talk into a mirror. And that's all we've established so far. So, yeah, she is officially the shittiest witch in this entire movie.
Well, I think that's even part of the plot. Is that she,
superpowers and no midgets or dwarfs?
yeah, she doesn't even know. I think that's like part of the plot. Is like she doesn't know how she's doing anything. She's just like.
It's always a good thing to have your villain be completely and utterly confused as to how to be a villain.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I know all these magic powers. Wait, what do I do with this mirror?
Right. And for your villain to have goals that don't make sense or aren't clear.
Well, that's why, like, it's not even her idea to get the orb. It's Bianca's idea. She's like, oh, why not? Why don't you go get that thing? And she's like, where is it? It's like, under the carpet where you left it.
Yeah.
She's like, don't tell me what to do. I have an idea. I'll get the orb.
All right, so we have her casting whatever spell and activating the what was it, a steam shovel of some sort, a heavy lifter, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, and I have expect them to cut to a soda can dispenser and for
even before that, when Jimmy Olsen is telling Lois's sister, cousin, whatever she is, like, oh yeah, don't worry about that guy. He'll probably just try and kill you or try and sell you.
Oh yeah,
just let him keep wandering in traffic.
That guy, I want some goddamn Popeyes.
Well, I don't disagree with that mentality. It is. It's delicious.
Is that KFC's logo?
Yeah, that's actually, yeah. KFC is finger looking good. Yes,
I was just remembering the Popeye stuff from Little Nicky.
Awesome.
That's just delicious.
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, the tractor picking up Dummy McDumbface might be one of the funniest things in this entire movie, if not the funniest thing.
It's hilarious how gently he rolls into it.
Like, I'm waiting for a fly whistle to be like, woo!
But like, I also love, one of my favorite parts of the scene is like, as this thing is rolling through town, people are chasing it. Like, they're not running away. They're running after.
There's that one group in the diner passing by, they're like, oh.
They're just looking like slack-jawed, like, what's going on right
They're like, wow, everybody reacts real slowly when Superman's not around.
What about when he
Maybe we've all gotten too comfortable.
Takes out the front of the building and they're just drinking beer inside, and there's like a cowboy and a bunch of dudes in hard hats.
I kind of wonder if they just didn't tell any of the people of this town like that this was being filmed. So they're just like, what the hell is going on? Whatever.
You know what? I'd buy it.
It's real magic.
Exactly.
Hey, Earl, what the fuck is that?
This is supposed to be like in Chicago, so they'd have that like kind of like a Wisconsin-y Chicago accent.
Oh, geez, look at that steam shovel.
Right there's a tractor.
Oh, the tractor, eh?
Yeah. The Bears are going to the Super Bowl this year, eh?
Hey, is that old man Fisher's tractor? Someone on tell. Anyway, how's your coffee?
That's the other thing I wanted to know is how did Lane the Lesser end up knocking herself out in the thing?
Lane the
Very
Lesser.
gently.
Exactly.
It's like, girl, you ain't Lois.
Bump her head against something. I don't know.
Why was she even in there? What did she think she could do? Like,
She thought she could drive this magically undrivable. Which I love. She ran out and then walked walked in front of it and then walked around and then walked up the steps. Like it was so slow.
Yeah, if it's supposed to reaffirm that she's Lois's sister, okay, but why though? Why did you do this? I don't know.
All the things to have her do, she jumps into a construction field. But yeah, that's what Lois thinks.
Yeah, just like my cousin's sister, kind of relative.
Maybe actually the director realized what a train wreck of a movie had in front of him, and this was a metaphor for the movie. Like, if you try and get in its way, it's going to run you over. So you might as well just get inside and pass out.
Again, the problem with age is like Lois in the Superman movies is like 37, and her sister's what, 17, 18 at best.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And she acts like real young in this movie.
So you mentioned the director.
Well, as more time passed in this movie, I was convinced it was created by a committee of aliens.
Well, here's the thing.
Don't understand people.
They tried getting Richard Lester to come direct it, but he said no. Robert Wise also said no. Christopher Reeve okayed the director we got, and the director we got sought advice from Richard Donner over some technical aspects.
Well, if you listen to
how to turn the camera on, like what's it?
As far as Donner got to quit.
I would say to anybody, if you have not, they had on the dude that played. I always forget the character's name. It's the other guy from Superman 2 that was the Kryptonian, not Zod. But,
yeah,
big guy. Because it's not Fayor. Fayor is the girl. I never remember the guy. On How Did This Get Made when they did Superman 3, and he talks about how much of an asshole Christopher Reeves was at this time.
Wow. Yeah.
He held him by his throat and like put him like up in the air. Mm-hmm. And Donner, all he did was yell, "Not in the face."
All right, we've got Cokehead McDiehard inside of the steam shovel and passed out Lesser Lane. So Supergirl goes and pulls the thing that has Captain Diehard in it.
But you're skipping over her other feats.
What are her other feats?
She laser eyes. She heat beams the power cord, and then she heat beams the water tower to put out the 5 tires that are on fire.
Oh, is that what happened?
I forgot about that.
Yes. And then she goes, instead of not heat beaming the hook, she just rips it off and then flies away with him and leaves Lucy Lane to just kind of roll slowly into a building.
Well, okay, so before all that, there's one thing I want to ask about because I'm very confused about this one little thing. She walks into the bathroom to change, and then another girl comes out, and she's like,
God, that's a great
I gotta rush. And she's like, I know the feeling. I'm like, wait, what was that exchange about?
It was that exchange. It's like, I know the feeling when you're about to shit your pants.
Yeah,
that was
talking about diarrhea.
That's literally what the exchange is.
This movie doesn't have enough poop in it.
And then you know what? This is where they get the name for the first time, and that's when Selena goes, "It's a Supergirl." I'm like, oh, fuck.
Oh no! Oh no!
Once again, I would like to point out, of all the times to not have anybody of color, the Popeyes, they really missed an opportunity.
Let you say that, because if any of us said,
that is why I was the one that chose to say that.
It was like, watch me, I'll do it again.
Well, they were in England, so it's like, I guess in 1984 there weren't anybody of color in England.
I don't know about that. I don't.
Wait,
But there's literally not a scene. Like, this has the most extras, and there's none.
Well, it's supposed to be taking place in like Midwest, like outside of Chicago. Like, I don't even want to say suburb of Chicago. I want to say like somewhere like around like
she flies
Elgin.
by-
Illinois.
right. It's a
Probably
suburb
probably
of where Wayne is from in Wayne's World.
Yeah, exactly. Like Aurora, Illinois, which is just like I used to live in Elgin years and years ago when I was a kid. Like
Oh, no.
back around when this movie probably came out. So it there wasn't a whole lot of diversity. It was a lot of flat land and white people.
Mm-hmm.
A coworker of mine, I think, is from, I can't remember where exactly, but it's something along those lines. She said, I think there was one black person in her whole town.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
sad.
I actually the interesting thing about the area where I when I was living out there was at the elementary school. There was a very large contingent of Laotian people, which seemed like the oddest place on earth to have Laotian people just
There are that.
settle
'Cause I
down.
think the community that has the second largest. Oh my god, what is it? Because it's where they got all the people for like I'm the captain now. Is in like Minnesota.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
there's a lot of Somalians in Minnesota.
It's like the
Yes.
second largest population in the entire world of Somalians is like in some random area in Minnesota.
That's so weird.
I grew up in a
And it's
town.
somehow very Minnesotan at the same time.
What were you gonna say, John?
I said I grew up in a town that is basically a lake town, is set in a valley, and everyone acted like they were from like the inner city. And I'm like, no, you live in a lake town. Please stop.
You grew up with a bunch of mer people, and
Exactly. You know what? Aquaman in before Jason Momoa came in was down the street. So
exactly, and all the trench lives.
You're all Innsmouth people. Accept it, okay?
listen, I'm fine with being half fish people. I'm okay with that.
I mean, in some cases, it's preferable over the actual place you were born. So,
Yeah.
I
I
also
like how we're going off on this to avoid talking about this movie as much as we can.
Yeah, that's kind of what happens sometimes.
Well, because this is what happened to me while I was watching it, and I want to know if anybody else had this. I just kept thinking of other better movies. Like, I mentioned the David from Lost World thing, the fucking Keith Sutherland, because I just started thinking of that movie, and like, I wish I could be watching that right now. That would be really nice.
There was more than one time where I seriously just looked at a bunch of movies I have to watch I have not seen yet, and I'm like, I could be watching one of these and discovering a whole new world right now. And what am I doing? I'm watching a shitty Supergirl movie.
I could be watching any of the films nominated for Best Picture, but no, I'm watching Supergirl.
I could be watching They Live for the first time, and no, I'm watching Supergirl.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a movie.
Again, that's been a blind spot on my list for you.
wait. What did you say? Green Lantern?
No,
No,
said
They
They
Live.
Live.
Oh, They Live.
Oh, okay. I was
Or
saying
Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
I mean, they're very similar movies, though, when you really think about it.
My favorite thing about that, which again, super off topic, is that South Park did that entire scene like shot for shot.
Yep.
With Jimmy and Timmy.
Yep.
It's so good.
No one asked them to do that.
But that is why they are who they are. Multiple Tony and Emmy Award winners and Oscar nominated.
All right, I'm gonna go back on this movie because I remember when he got out and decided to when or I guess what Linda or Supergirl, whatever you want to call it, when he gets her and when she gets him out and he looks at her for the first time, I swear to God, I read his line delivery in Patrick Starr's voice when he goes, "I love you."
Oh well, this is also the first time when our bad guy is like, "Wait, where did this like mousy little girl come from?" It's like, what do you mean? Where did she come from?
Yeah,
Don't
well,
look-
our and in the villain's
don't look there, you look
that.
Well, the thing I don't understand is you're a fucking witch. Like, how do you not see
but
this
she's a
shit?
bad
Like
witch.
the shitty witch.
The point where they're like, we can't hear, and it's like, make there be volume. Like, make speakers. What are you talking about? You can't hear. You have magic.
Yeah.
Like, oh wait, hang on, the audio AV jack was out on my mirror. Let me go put it back in.
Can I when he was standing up from the thing and smacked his head on the equipment, there was no way that was scripted. That had to be like
I had to be
unscripted.
genuine. Gas and everything. I'm like, how are you not bleeding and having a concussion right now?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was totally New Hope, like Stormtrooper hitting his head on the lowered gate. like
Yeah.
Death Star
We
scene.
meant to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, aha, he meant to hit his head. Hey, how many fingers am I holding up? 5?
So I just looked at my notes and I realized I have a note that could have covered pretty much any scene in this movie, which was that music is so much more dramatic than that scene deserves. You tell me where that fits in, where we're talking about, because that's pretty much
Anywhere.
90% of the movie.
You want to know what's sad right now? Because I think that we're only halfway into this movie at this point.
Oh,
No,
God.
not even.
No,
Not even-
we're not. Yeah.
We aren't to the poltergeist yet. We aren't to the fucking.
Oh yeah.
Okay, speaking of that poltergeist or whatever.
We're slipping around though, because
Yeah, of
Is that
course.
the
Like
next
the
thing?
first. Yeah, that is pretty much. I mean, there might have been some minor shit that happens, but who knows? Who knows?
Oh,
Yeah,
when
that
she
was
summons her shadow demon.
like
oh, you mean when she calls Gozer?
Yes.
the first like big fight scene that we have with the first time Supergirl's ever been on the big screen, the first female superhero, the first big fight she has is with an invisible monster.
Yep.
You cheap fucks.
You
Like
motherfuckers.
Going backwards really quickly, I do remember that during the scene where one, she summons the creature thing and all the world gets turned up, it
Mhm.
goes between dramatic music and love romance thing. And I'm like,
Yes.
what? Pick a theme, please.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. Welcome to Supergirl. Like, and the other thing is when
Welcome
she
to Fucktown.
she grabs that light pole. Like somehow she figures out, oh, lightning is this thing's weakness. That's how I get rid of
Right.
it. Because she also studied earth wizardry while she was on Pandora.
None of
You know, exponential physics and wizardry.
electricity doesn't work like that. She like charges this thing like
Yeah.
a big battery. I'm like, that's not how that works.
You know, the whole time during this, I'm just thinking, my name is Cara Danvers, and I'm the most magical woman alive.
Yeah, that was
Imagine
that.
how fucking stupid this universe's Flash would be.
Oh
Oh,
god.
my God.
He'd be tripping every 5 seconds, just like, I'm coming, boom, I'm coming, boom.
That, like Lou, what you were saying is like that's not how electricity works.
Well,
Especially after she somehow expels the electricity from it.
Yeah, how does
I don't
that
know how
happen?
that happened.
She
It
just,
doesn't
like,
make any sense.
She just like she doesn't even point it at him. She just like holds it and then it just electrocutes it.
Yeah,
Right.
and you can kind of see the budget they spent on the creature effects, which
But
you get to see later on in the movie.
Oh,
The
What's-
following
go
scene is one of my favorite scenes, though, which is when she walks back to her room, still dressed as Supergirl, and
Yeah.
the dorm mom is like, "Hey, why is your skirt so short? Don't say yes, ma'am." Blah, blah. And it goes back to her.
I've never heard of Superman before.
Well,
She's the
you
only
can,
person who admits to how drunk she was during the movie.
Like,
well,
That
that's
was
the
not
thing.
my husband left me, and I have no
She went-
kids anymore.
She went full method.
Well, that's the thing. You like before this scene even happens. There's a point where Kara, as her alter ego, like is signing in or out, and you see the woman just like shaking a
Pounding.
remote at the TV, drinking like
yeah.
just glass after glass of
It-
bourbon.
It's set up for the later scene. They do that a lot. They
Yeah.
set up like again, it's that six-dimensional physics. Like it's set up for jokes that don't pay off in any way.
But
Oh.
actually,
Okay, yeah, this movie's
Well, they pay off in not funny ways.
jokes very loose.
before that, Selena had a line where she's like, "How does Supergirl best me every time?" I'm like, "You only fought her twice."
Yeah, and
Yeah.
your plans were
Both
shitty.
times.
Your plans
Is
were
it-
shitty.
When she's summoning the
Movie not make any sense.
I will praise the movie one thing. The car being crushed was the coolest looking special effect
Yeah,
in this whole
Fair.
movie.
there's
fair.
some cool
But
special. in this film, yeah.
the I think when she summons the shadow demon is the first time I was like, oh, they're doing that weird kind of poltergeist lighting on her face where like
Yeah.
they light only just her eyes.
Mhm.
And that
Okay.
happens for the rest of the film.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they figured out when they got the dailies back. Oh, that looks really good. So let's just keep doing that for the rest of the movie.
hmm
Yeah.
By the way, the rest of this film is 7 hours long,
No.
I
while
think,
somehow only being an hour in real time.
yes.
And then
I
I,
don't
think
even
the
remember.
moment that had me laughing the most, this might be my favorite scene in the movie, is when Derpy McBlandface shows up, Ellis from Die Hard, and he starts doing poetry, and she's like, oh no, not now, because I'm pretty sure that's the moment Helen Slater snapped and couldn't take it anymore.
Oh, that's when he first like wakes up and he kisses her, and she completely I think this is Helen Slater does not kiss him back whatsoever.
Is this
please don't touch me, scene.
Is this also where he shows up with flowers and is like, okay, pick
No,
you up
that's the next time. So when after she's attacked by Shadow Demon, her like Fitbit starts to glow and beep, and then she follows that to the amusement park.
Which should have been the logical conclusion of this movie, or at least the climax of everything.
They never explain why she has this thing, like what it is.
Peter O'Toole put it on her wrist earlier on in the movie, like back when they were back in Kandor or whatever. Like he just made it. He just all of a sudden made it without explaining what it was.
Exactly.
Here's a MacGuffin.
Yeah, like most of this movie.
As soon as Peter O'Toole had a chance to leave, he took that chance. He's like, I'm out, bye.
Yeah. What do you mean come back for additional filming? I will not.
Actually, that's a microcosm for this whole movie. It's just it got made and nobody knows why. Here you go.
Yes, this is when she goes to the thing and they're opening and closing the box with like the skull box with titties and like opening it and closing it. It's even bigger now. Yeah, and then like the whole room is shaking.
You know, at this point, I was looking at a bunch of images that happened to be laid out in a certain sequence, and I had no idea what any of it meant.
When I think this point, the part where sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say this was the point where I was like, "Oh, how much time? Oh God, 44 minutes!" And
this is exactly the same time.
I was legitimately thinking about just reading a roundup of what else happened in the movie and not watching anymore.
I think it's when they landed on they land with the coconut scene. I was like, oh, because my wife was like, how much time is left? And I was like, Tasha's like 45 minutes. She was like, oh God.
I had seriously considered making this the first movie special that I didn't finish.
But I don't even remember. How does so they fight here? Like what happens? I'm trying to remember what happened.
They send those bumper cars around.
And she shows up as Supergirl.
It's like football shot from
Faye Dunaway moves at light speed or whatever. She duplicates.
Oh no! When she uses multiform technique.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and it's like obviously it's the one that's not see-through. Son of a bitch.
And then Supergirl walks to the side and just like.
I love how the guy wakes up and he's like, yeah, I love her now. Absolutely.
Oh, and she just like throws those poles up and just like, ha, I defeated you. It's like, okay.
Not really, but weird flex.
But then, but my favorite part is instead of just picking him up and flying away, she rips out the bumper car, and then I don't know if you guys noticed this. As she's flying up through the building, she's not protecting his head, and that is why he gets knocked unconscious because he is awake. He is awake when she's picking it up.
In the movie,
he has total brain damage. He has CTE. He's part of that Will Smith movie.
Well, that's why he essentially goes on to make the choices he does in Die Hard.
That makes sense.
His life is irreparably fucked.
Yeah.
This is where we get
up and he sees all her powers. He's like, you can do this, this, and this. I'm like, do you not notice the giant fucking S on the blouse?
Yeah.
Anyway.
But this is so he gets knocked out there, and then like they land at the island, and he wakes up, and magical coconut hits him in the fucking face.
That made me so happy. That to me was the other scene that was similar to her heat vision in the shower room where she was able to break the film reel, because the coconut gets thrown, and then after all of that whatnot, it cuts back to Faye Dunaway, and she's standing in front of the mirror, still acting like she just threw it. So she was able to somehow throw it through a film reel.
They don't. It seems like it came from the forest, but like
they are well-matched villain and hero, aren't they?
But this is also the most sexual scene in the whole movie when Supergirl rips open the coconut after she stares at it like I don't know what this is, and then puts two fingers in it very gently and puts them in her own mouth, and slowly puts them back in, and then puts them in his mouth.
I forgot to mention that she sniffs this dude while he's asleep.
Yeah, she does.
Oh yeah.
Romance, flirting, whatever. Like the whole like, hey, Linda can take care of herself. Oh, hey, let me kiss you. By the way, I know who you are, Linda. Like, what?
Well, what we don't understand about Kryptonians is they're actually very bestial, and she was just smelling him to see if he was in heat.
He's like, I have bad news. We Kryptonians don't mate the way you do.
It's a lot more like Pond Bar, but
I believe this is when Bianca, the friend, is like, "Hey, so like your magic's not working through the mirror, so why don't we give old Nigel a ring a ding?" And then that's when he shows up with the voodoo stick of ultimate evil.
And they keep cutting back to Kara and Ellis fucking talking to each other. I do want to point out this one moment that really was just like a shining light in the middle of this shit, where he's like talking about her and like asking about her powers or whatever, and he's like, and you can lift an iron bar or whatever, and her voice deepens and she says yes, like yes, and it was just delightful. That moment was great. So yeah.
Again, and then later, genuine treasure in this whole movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's great. She makes a lot of great choices.
Well, because she was probably like, "Hey, like I am the leading lady of this movie." Outside of Faye Dunaway, who's kind of an accessory. I'm sure she was in her head thinking she had to take this seriously.
Well, this is like her first film. This is like her first thing ever, isn't it?
Yeah.
Great. This is her film. Yeah, this is her film debut. She did a couple of a ABC after school special, but this is her first massive big.
Crazy that I see it's like ABC after school special 82 and then Supergirl. That is insane. And then The Legend of Billie Jean.
And she was in Lassie in '94.
Oh, she's been in a ton of stuff. She's like one of those people that you're like, oh, I remember her on that. She became that girl. Like she did the voice for Talia in the Batman animated series.
I see that. I see she was Martha Kent in a superhero girls movie, like a TV movie.
Oh, yeah. Anything that's DC, she gets pulled from all the time.
Good. I'm glad she got better roles after this.
She deserves it. Because she's the one thing I would save from this movie. Like if I could just if they were somehow to make a sequel to this movie, which they would never do, I would save her and throw everything out.
They might.
Well, I would say even in her scenes in Supergirl, the TV show, I think she plays that character great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's great in everything I've seen her in. So, yeah.
Oh God!
Sorry, guys, this movie fucking defeated me.
I'm gonna read off my notes.
I think about the scene where Faye Dunaway, only Connor may get this, is when she Goku teleports.
Yes.
She is the bridge when he just goes boop and goes.
I understand this reference.
I was like,
you keep materializing out of thin air.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Wait, just remember
you're gonna die now.
I'm looking through my notes real quick here and seeing at least they got a drink from the magical thrown coconut and then nodded off for 15 minutes.
I think the moment when he ends up in, I think we're at the part now where he ends up in Selena's clutches in chains. Mm-hmm. Once I saw him in chains, I just hit the pause button. I went to go take a drink, get myself a couple of snacks, did some other stuff around my room.
A good half hour left into this movie.
Oh God.
So long. Jimmy sees that castle or whatever, the fucking cliff.
Because we haven't even gone to the Phantom Zone yet.
Well, and that's the thing. All right, let's just go past trying to care about the sequential order of things at this point, or at least for this last bit. How does she even know what the fuck the Phantom Zone is?
Well, that's the thing. I get that. In the beginning, it's she doesn't know, and that's where because they literally pull the thing with Superman 2, where she turns into that glass thing.
Yeah, into the flipping.
Yeah, was I supposed to clap my hands like an idiot when that happened?
Yes. With Zod and his cohorts, didn't they do the whole flipping glass thing?
Directly from Superman 2, but then she refers to it as the Phantom Zone later on. I'm wait, what book do you have where they have knowledge of the Kryptonian prison dimension?
That was my question, because as soon as I heard her, I'm wait, we're talking about magic. How do you know what's going on?
Which, side bit of business for the actual Phantom Zone podcast, somebody needs to isolate her saying the Phantom Zone.
So that should be the opening for all of our podcasts.
Oh my God. I'm surprised you guys haven't done that yet, I guess.
I don't think any of us realize she actually said
I'm sorry. Was the question someone just asking is how does Kara know what the Phantom Zone is?
No, how does
know? Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking as well, because I'm this movie the things it pulls from the source material are so fucking confusing and baffling. I don't know why these decisions were made.
Yeah.
Well, the whole problem is that they are doing all this magic shit, not just with Faye Dunaway, but there's like Kryptonian magic.
Right, and it's not even DC Comics accurate magic even for the time. Magic was still a part of the overall universe. It still was a thing, and they could have drawn from what was there. I know it became much bigger after Alan Moore came around and other authors.
My first thought was that they did all this magic stuff because someone's like, oh, well, like, what can we do for a story if we're doing Supergirl? Like, well, what hurt Superman? Well, they already did Kryptonite, and Superman 2 had Kryptonians. It's like, what else hurts them? It's like magic. Oh, okay, let's do like a whole thing. We have this script about witches.
Let's just do magic.
It's actually
who's the villain? Magic.
It's really funny you mention that. I keep dropping facts. I'm sorry if that's too much, but
no, it's great.
Okay, because apparently when Christopher Reeve was quote unquote supposed to be here before he got the fuck out, I think I'm looking at IMDb right now. Yeah, I'm looking. Oh god, where is it? The original script had Supergirl trying to rescue Superman, who had fallen ill due to Selena's magic.
See, that would have actually been an awesome idea of like Selena taking out Superman and Supergirl has to save the day. Because again,
I'd be down with it more than that's all this fucking movie.
Although I would have to say, again, I watched this movie with my wife. She was watching and was like, oh, when Selena turns on Nigel and pulls the thing, she's like, oh, I kind of dig this weird feminist message that this movie has, where like even though like the man is helping the bad guy, like she then turns on him.
This movie also
until the very end, the very last thing ends up being that the man saves the day.
Yeah.
This movie's also got the Twilight problem where the central conflict seems to be I need a boyfriend.
Oh, it's 100% that. Yeah. Well, that's the entire villain's like thing. Because I think so after she throws her in the thing, this is when we have like she creates Mountain in the middle of town.
Oh god, this part actually pissed me off. Not only the mountain, but what came after the mountain.
Oh, when she's driving through the town with all of her.
The school mobilized like a protest, and like Lucy knows what's going on and who Selena is. I'm like, when was this happening?
Has she been here the whole time? You guys had ample opportunity to get rid of her.
Yeah. Well, I feel like this all happened immediately, and then all the cops have motorcycle helmets because I guess that was cheaper than designing some sort of or buying cop helmets. Because they're just wearing black suits and motorcycle helmets.
I think it was more to give an illusion to Nazism. Honestly, that's what I got.
They say that it's the cops, that she took over the cops.
Well, that was part of her taking over the minds of men thing. That's part of one of her 15 plans, I guess. I don't know.
I also girls' friends put them in bird cages.
Well, if she can magically make this mountain with a castle appear, you're telling me that she still wants that gardener dick. She can't have any other penis on the face of the planet. She has such low ambitions.
Listen, it has to be Ellis. That's her.
She makes him her like slave, and he's in like these ridiculous suits. But I also love that she basically is like, "Oh, Nigel, we're gonna do something," and they basically have him magically. He's all beat up, and then his clothes are tattered. And then when she's driving through town, he's chained to the back bumper.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was thinking of Ellis. I was thinking when Ellis was.
No. Yeah, Ellis is in a bunch of leadership. At some point, he's coloring with crayons in a coloring book.
Joke just for you, Connor. Just for you.
She also put him in like early disco or late disco clothes too, like the giant butterfly collar,
a velour sports jacket. And again, she's in her different kimonos because at one point she's in like a white. She changes from kimono to like white flowy gown, like thing. I feel like we need to talk about the Phantom Zone.
Yeah, there's so much there.
By Phantom Zone, I mean the never-ending story where she's drowning. Like,
God damn you! I was gonna say like, she walks by fucking Atreyu's horse, and she's like, "Well, how that got here?"
Our horse is showing up overhead.
Well, I mean, maybe Atreyu's horse really is there because I mean, Zoltan is holding on to that little plastic horse.
When he asks her, "Hey, you want to squirt?"
Oh.
Oh, God.
That was so gross.
I was like, moving your throat. Stop it, please. No.
I mean, at the time, that maybe that didn't mean the same thing, but still,
He
just,
asks her that.
It still was the same thing based
He
on
asks
context clues of the rest of this movie.
He asks her that and pulls out the red electric dildo.
But my favorite thing is when she does do it in her mouth, and she's like, "Oh," and spits it out, and he's like, "Oh, after you do it for a while, it kind of tastes good." I was like,
get used to the taste.
what? Like roofies.
Yeah, or certain other fluids.
Just gotta eat a lot of pineapple juice. That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Loaded with like weird sexual imagery and stuff that sexual imagery that I think this movie invented. Like,
Oh, you mean when she crawls out of the space vagina?
well, no, not just that. When she falls into that pool of black ooze and she has to like dig herself out, that's quicksand porn shit. Like that's.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
Are you trying to tell me this movie was a sexual awakening for a lot of people?
I think it's responsible for the genre of quicksand porn in the modern.
I can't remember. There's definitely
fetishes were born.
Yeah,
there's
Yeah.
definitely a point in one of the fights where you 100% get an upskirt shot of Supergirl, and my wife's like, and there we go.
yeah.
Wow.
I mean, just her being in the movie, and she kind of has like a weird sexual tension with Faye Dunaway that also inspired another subgenre of porn in which people just dress up as superheroes and do stuff.
So I think we skipped over, like, in talking about the sexuality, when she goes to make out with herself in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
trying
when
to
she's
figure out
making
how to
kissy
kiss.
faces. Yeah.
Yes, but then that leads into her doing a better kiss later, like when she's on the post coconut scene.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Pre and post coconut.
Yes.
Oh,
And I think we still have about a half hour left of this film to talk
we
about.
do.
Yeah,
We do.
let's talk about drunk Peter O'Toole.
Peter O'Toole's who thought he was out, but they pulled him back in.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
You know that bottle is full of whiskey, and he has in his pockets other bottles of various liquors that he is just liberally chugging in between scenes.
Well, I think
Already
Quaaludes.
Man.
I was
I
gonna say,
think
like, yeah,
Quaaludes
they
were still readily available at that
they
point.
definitely paid him in amphetamines. Like,
Because O'Toole is he's known for being kind of a
drunk.
drinker. Yes, so yeah, like
I filmed the guy have a giant swimming pool full of whiskey, and we're like, here, you can jump in at the end of the day. You did your job. Woohoo!
oh yeah, that's what.
that's why he signed on. He'd have like a week where he could just fucking drink and not have to fucking worry about it. Like, I can drink and I can get paid. Oh well.
Like, my wife's like watching. I'm like, I can't believe this is what he's doing. She's like, what do you mean? He's like that's Peter O'Toole. And she's like, wait, what? I was like, yeah, that's Lawrence of Arabia. And she's like,
Yeah.
oh God, what happened?
Yeah. Alcoholism and money.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
Patriot movie for everybody.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's obvious. 'Cause again, the only person who cares is Helen Slater.
Yeah.
And it's
You know what? I
very
just
obvious.
this reminds me a lot of when it comes to those big names of like a movie like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. When it's like, oh, this is like a genre that's like popping off. Like, I should jump into this because the kids.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the because I feel bad for Sean Connery.
Yeah.
That movie is very watchable.
It is watchable. I just feel bad that's his last role he's going out on.
Oh, that's not his last role.
No, it's not his last role, but he took that movie because he turned down The Matrix.
He voiced like some.
No, he turned on Lord of the Rings, not The Matrix.
Yeah,
I think he turned down both.
Yeah, he did. He was going to
was offered Morpheus.
Wow.
Put your hair in there, you stupid boy.
He
Red pill, blue
understand
pill.
the scripts for
I
either.
don't
of
give a fuck.
Yeah.
Do I get to put a woman in this movie?
No, Sean, that's bad. What do you mean?
All I can think of, how did this get made? What was it? Oh man, what's that crazy movie he did with the leotard?
Oh, Zardoz.
Zardoz.
Yeah,
So
Zardoz.
it's like they do the poem. It's
The
like,
beginning of this movie reminded me of Zardoz.
hit a bitch, hit a bitch, crack a bitch.
I
Put it in the film.
That's what Sean Connery's thing ever did was dressing up as a giant teddy bear in the Avengers, the '98 movie.
Oh god.
Yes. Oh God, that movie. I wish we could talk about that here. Maybe based on the title, we could. I don't know. It sneaks in.
There's-
Hey, you know what? It's better than this movie.
I was gonna say I will watch any movie.
That challenge will be accepted.
Yeah,
Lou.
100%.
Keep the count on.
All
We
right.
still have 7 minutes of this movie to talk about.
Yeah. All right. So Faye Dunaway has everybody in little bird cages, and Supergirl apparently isn't able to use any of her fucking powers.
Well, that's part of the Phantom Zone. That's always part of the Phantom Zone.
Oh,
I
yeah,
do love
she
that Nigel
get
is
out of
like,
Phantom Zone,
we're in
yeah.
like hanging balls. Like, ooh, that's original.
Yeah, I forgot. We still need to talk about them getting out of the Phantom Zone and Voltron pulling a pot can.
And I swear to God, I saw that red tornado, and I'm like, I swear, if you're red tornado in this movie,
No!
Oh, I wouldn't give this movie a fucking second chance at that point. I would go all in on crucifying it.
Don't you do this movie? Don't you kill me?
They total Jonathan Kent in Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, go on without me. He literally just like flings himself back. I was like, oh, this is the beginning of like, we ran out of money for effects.
Exactly.
Also, Peter O'Toole wants to go home.
Peter O'Toole was like, give me my booze and go.
Well, maybe this establishes, though, in Man of Steel that wasn't a regular tornado that took John Kent. That was Zardoz there coming through.
It was red tornado, like ignore me.
It's just a Kryptonian history of tornadoes.
Doesn't she say some weird
figures.
spell? Like she uses like a fireball spell, and then that's when he falls down, and then he's like crawling up her body. It was again really weird.
If that's
which again.
Why John Kent went up in the sky, I will fully accept that as fact. Yeah. And I will not hate that part of the movie.
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, we've been trying to figure out what our Thanos is in the cinematic universe of our show. What our monitor, anti-monitor is. Tornado is all of these things. He's our oldest character, actually, when you think about it.
I think he is, yeah.
Yeah,
he's definitely our
tornado. Yeah. Well, I think we figured out its origin stories now.
He is our dark side, the tornado.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm coming to get you, Kevin Costner.
Dad, why does that tornado smell like booze?
Ignore, honey. It'll go away.
Remember when I was nominated for a tornado Academy Award?
I never How is your be a bastard?
What's hilarious? This is probably not the worst movie that Peter O'Toole was in.
Oh God, what was?
What was that other one? Was it the jazz singer? Where he plays Neil Diamond?
No.
A remake with Neil Diamond or whatever it was?
Yeah. He plays like an old Jewish rabbi.
Oh no!
Isn't there a period of time where I think every one of those actors from that era of Hollywood eventually go on to do something that's just culturally and racially insensitive?
Oh yeah, they all do blackface at some point. Or Ted Danson did it on an award show. I mean,
yeah, he did.
John Wayne was Genghis Khan.
All right, hold on. No, wait, it's not Peter O'Toole. You're thinking.
Okay, yeah, he was.
Wait, who was I thinking of?
Laurence Olivier
yeah. Okay. I feel like that's not a terrible mess up
that he ever did, and I don't know what it is. I mean, Peter O'Toole did Club Paradise.
All right, let's get through this, guys.
Let's put Paul in this fucking movie.
Wait, did you say that Helen Slater was she in the Lassie movie?
She was in a Lassie in the 90s. That's what I saw.
Because Peter O'Toole was in the Lassie movie in 2005, and I wonder if they were in the same movie.
There's a fucking Lassie movie from 2005?
I just clicked it. Peter Dinklage is in this movie.
What?
Did he play Lassie?
Yes. I think it was a Benji movie from 2000. Oh my God, there is. What?
Well, okay, because it's a dog, and you can just recast. You could just recast the dog because and then put it out on direct to DVD.
They made a Flipper movie with what's his name, Paul Hogan, in like the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God,
that was like a thing.
I made a Flipper movie with Frodo, and I do know your story about Frodo and what happened last time on the one episode.
Oh, he's fighting sexual predators.
Yeah.
Now he has Flipper helping him.
Yeah, beyond more.
Exactly.
He was in Phantoms. Phantoms is the shit.
Hey,
Affleck was the
Phantoms. Let's be honest.
Phantoms like a motherfucker.
Okay. So she gets out of the Phantom Zone and then gets and gets pulled into that demon.
Punches through the mirror.
Well, yeah, and she's in the same dimension that apparently the end of Poltergeist 2 took place in, when that demon has a hold of her.
Yes.
Oh no, that's after. That's when Faye Dunaway summons Malbosia.
And she's
Well,
like,
actually, that happens later. First she punches through the mirror, and then Faye Dunaway is like, "All right, I'm going to summon hot spikes underneath the cages."
Well,
And then
they looked like
she
those
uses-
sex toys, but yes.
then she uses her freeze breath to break them, and they drop, and everybody runs away. Which, well, I points out, there are 4 cages and only 3 people because it's just Lucy, Jimmy, and Nigel.
Yeah.
Nigel needs 2 cages because
Because of his...
one's for
But this is the
Once-
moment when
Go ahead.
Faye Dunaway does the stuff to the floor and Supergirl's crawling, and this is the moment when her wife said, "Bitch, you can fly. Why are you crawling?"
Yeah.
She has godly power.
Well,
But she's like, "Why are you crawling on the ground? You literally can like fly and hover."
well, and realistically, what would happen if she would have gotten hit by that statue? She would have just had it bounce off of her or break, and she would have kept moving.
But and again, this is when I also noticed like all of the statues in this room all have giant tits.
Well, that's a Satanist thing, but yeah, that's true.
I mean, like it has like
But
the
the-
goat head, giant tits.
That's the thing, though.
I think Peter O'Toole's last final moment was just running through the set, going, "Little giant tits everywhere."
The thing is, I noticed on the enlarged statue that was holding the Megatron orb, that it didn't even have a pentagram in the right direction. It was just a pentacle because it was an upright star. It wasn't even an upside down star on the goat's head. So they can't even get their Satanist imagery right. And this was during the Satanic Panic of the 80s.
Oh, I was gonna say this is when this movie turned into Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
Pick your champion or whatever.
Instead of a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, it became goddamn like a terrible. As bad as Malbosia is,
Yes, if you're awake, you say yes.
Yeah.
Look, at this point in the movie, if the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man actually showed up, I probably would have woken up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking at my notes. This is during the fight. This is when we get the Supergirl like underwear shot,
Mm-hmm.
which is getting
Oh,
thrown around the
okay.
room.
That's not a surprise.
No.
It's.
Okay.
All right. So she's fighting Malbosia while she's getting wrenched around by Malbosia, and
In the worst special effects ever of all
yeah,
time.
that's
bad.
that's why I said it looked like the very end of Poltergeist 2 in that weird dimension they're in, because it looks so terrible. So
This
terrible.
is like film editing tools that people like regular people had in the 90s.
Oh yeah, like
I've
video
done this.
toaster. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So how exactly does she get out of this? I don't remember. Like
She doesn't. Our friend Gardner McDouchebag goes and puts the lid on the titty monster statue.
Okay. I
Alice
blacked
Davis
out.
Girl.
Yes,
Yes.
because in a movie about flying people, the one who saved the day is this guy.
Mhm.
Yes, the guy who would literally, again, in one of the scenes, when Faye Dunaway's reading through the books, he has a handful of crayons and a coloring book. Because I was literally like, I'm like, what is he doing? And he's in like a velour tuxedo suit jacket, and he has like a handful of crayons, and he's just like coloring. And I was like, what are they doing? Like he's like a total himbo, but then he saves everything. Because then it doesn't make sense.
He's
Because
like, and he's like, I go watch wrestling.
yeah. WrestleMania's on tonight, you know. Like,
Do you have any more Schlitz? I really like Schlitz.
Hey, listen, I gotta go. I'm meeting up with some friends.
he just called me a flashback when he's talking to her, when he's like, you know, I have this job and like I know we're from 2 different worlds. He's like, oh, you know, he's like, yeah, you're in this Richie girl prep school and I'm this like gardener. And she's like, well, my family's not rich. He's like, it's okay, I can take care of both of us.
You're poor beyond belief.
That is like right before he gets Goku'd away. On that island.
All right. So So Faye Dunaway gets pulled into the mirror by another tornado.
Oh, she also like shoots. She starts shooting like well, I don't know any of the Harry Potter words, but she has the like voodoo wand and she starts like shooting people with it. And her friend's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get out of here." And she shoots her.
Oh
with
yeah.
it. Oh, no, I'm cool.
Yeah.
I'm cool. I'm gonna stay.
Yeah, this is after she makes Nigel into an old, horrible, scarred man, but her friend is like ready to leave, and she just pushes her against a wall. Like,
Yeah, she's like, "Hey, I'm gonna dip out of here. Things are getting a little too real."
Like, all right.
Way faster.
Your name is Peace.
All right, so yeah, Faye Dunaway gets sucked up by a tornado into the mirror. The mirror comes back together, and we see Supergirl standing there in her iconic pose. And then stuff happens. Stuff happens.
She basically's like, "Oh, you guys are cool, and I'm gonna go home now."
Well, but like,
oh look, the lights are on. Yay!
all of a sudden, the castle disappears, and Jimmy Olsen's going to go get his dick wet.
Yeah, they Goku back to the town. The mountain's gone, and they're like, "What happened?" And then she literally poochies herself home.
Yeah.
I need to return to my home
now. My literal planet needs me.
Well, that's the thing. At this point, there should be nothing left of that city because they established early on. It's been like a month and a half. But
again,
time moves differently.
Argo City time.
Yeah. Well, Peter O'Toole says like, "I've been here forever." It's like, dude, you've been here for like 3 days, maybe.
Well,
She's
I bet the Phantom
You've seen Nighttime twice.
I need my iPhone.
Hero Tool's drinking all the time, so he probably thinks it's forever.
That's
but it's
true.
Well, yeah, he is doing like shots of that squirt stuff in his mouth.
Oh, Uncle Gopher, you've been here for 2 days.
Hey, you want some?
It's like you
I've
really
been
got to
time traveling.
Gotta try this Phantom Bone meth I've been cooking.
It's amazing. You drink this liquid and you wake up 3 days later not knowing how you got here.
See, to me, it's like Peter O'Toole is doing Breaking Bad in the Phantom Zone.
Wait, this was Jesse.
All right, so she gets the magic Voltron orb and starts flying back towards her city, and the fucking credits start rolling.
Yep.
Like, are
in
you
like a
fucking kidding
in like
me?
a Star Wars style, like coming up from the bottom.
Right. And in the version that I watched, at the very end after the credits, they show a trailer for the movie.
I did not get that. I got like a bunch of like thank yous. I was like, oh, I wonder if there's any weird stuff afterwards.
No, as soon as I saw those credits, I was like, all right, the circle, we're done.
As soon as I sniffed the credits, I turned it off.
Yeah.
All right, so I have a question to pose to the entire group here. Is this movie as bad or worse than Superman 4: The Quest for Peace?
Oh, this is worse.
Yeah, this is much worse.
This is 2 hours long. Like legit, this is a 2-hour movie.
This is as bad because if not Superman 4 is worse because Helen Slater is the only redeeming thing. Superman 4 has no redeeming things at all for me.
Fair.
His Christopher Reeve, he's awesome.
Fair.
The thing is, this movie is forever.
Yeah.
That's the other problem. The pacing is atrocious, and I mean atrocious.
This is 1.5 films, which is not good.
Yeah,
It's 1.5 films,
possibly,
and
In the downtime of your film, you shouldn't be able to squeeze another movie.
it
This is
was 1.5 films, and it
worse
felt
than
like 2 lifetimes.
This is like a Supergirl. This is a superhero film. This is a rom-com. This is a teen comedy at a prep school. This is literally, like you said, 3 movies in one.
Oh,
Yeah.
you forgot horror movie because that whole lightning sequence is straight up poltergeisty.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, I was just like, whatever. Just move on. Let's get this done.
Yeah.
This is one of the worst movies I have ever watched in my life.
Yeah, this is up there. This might have been, I think, just downright atrocious.
Like I feel like I've dodged a few bullets, having not done as many movie specials with Phantom Zone and whatnot yet. But even the ones that aren't great have at least been fun. Like Steel is an abysmal movie, but it was
I would watch
fun.
all of the Darkman sequels before I watch this again.
Yeah.
Oh god!
I mean,
I would watch the Swamp Thing TV show before I watch it.
Yeah, no, I watched Swamp Thing too before watching this again.
There are so many. I would sit down and watch Fan Four Stick. I would sit and watch Jonah Hex. There are so many other.
As much as I hate those two movies are better than this. And I would say one of the main things is they're shorter. This is full 2 hours. This is like 140 something. Or 100.
There's like this. There's a behind the scenes story that's interesting, and like you can kind of pick and choose what parts of the movie you like, because it's very easy to be like, oh, this is the part where the studio jumped in and just fucked everything up.
I got really scared about Dr. Doom killing people.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch Howard the Duck over this any day of the week.
Honestly, yes.
Yeah.
Like, I was trying to think of movies that, like, especially comic book movies that are worse. The only one I could think of were like Catwoman and The Spirit.
Actually, no, I'd rather watch The Spirit because that's some kind of bad movie enjoyment for me.
Oh, The Spirit is hilarious, okay?
Spirit is hilarious bad.
The Spirit will be fun when we eventually...
I'd rather watch Elektra. I'd rather watch...
I don't think I've ever seen all of Elektra.
Oh, God, don't.
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles 3, The Phantom with Billy Zane as a purple condom.
I love horrible movies. I saw Ninja Turtles 3 before it even came out. I think I said this on the horror chat. Somehow in my magical mystical ways, some kid I knew, like his dad was a producer, and I saw it under a different name. And I was like, why did they have different costumes?
I'm so sorry.
This is hot dog shit.
Yeah. In time.
Hey, mister, why'd you make a crappy movie?
Well, Daddy has a coke addiction.
I feel like the teen is the
that now.
a lot of shitty movies.
I will be fully honest. This is going down there with me for like Dragon Ball Evolution, The Last Airbender, Aragon, all that crap is one of the worst things I've ever watched in my lifetime.
I actually think Aragon doesn't deserve to be in that list.
Aragon's bad.
Aragon is bad, but it's not this bad.
Oh, I thought it was this bad. I was angry walking out of that theater at 13 years old.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did not see it in theater.
I can't.
Lewis is like, I'm a fool.
I don't even have the energy to be angry at this movie because it sapped every bit of will to live from
this
me.
movie is exhausting.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
That's right, which is why I'm not like my kind of normal hyperbolic self, because this movie is so aggressively unfun. It's sure to get through. You leave it with nothing. It's 2 fucking hours.
Yeah, it's stolen every bit of your will to live. Like,
This movie sent you to the Phantom Zone.
oh God,
Kind of, yeah.
like,
Is there a zone beyond the Phantom Zone?
Yeah.
Alive.
it just that the Metatron orb that Kara is flying off with, like that is a metaphor for what's happened to everything I love in life after watching this movie. She's taken it and she's flying away with it.
But like my favorite part of this movie is like the line about Jehovah's Witnesses and the fact that she legitimately pulls a poochie. But that is the ending of this movie, is that she poochies herself. And I have to return to my homeworld. Goodbye.
I think because this bombed so badly, this is what led the Salkins to sell this franchise to Golan and Globus.
It is.
Which
This
is
is
all of the canon sequels.
They bankrupted themselves and made this movie for twice the budget of Empire, I guess, which I didn't realize.
Yeah. We were talking about it in the chat before we started recording, but yeah, this movie had a budget of $35 million and it made $14.2 million.
And we missed it during the movie, but $1 million of those dollars were spent on the opening credits.
Reiterate. Empire Strikes Back, $18 million.
The opening weekend was under
4
$6
years before this. So
Was under what, $60, Lou? Is that what you said?
The opening weekend was under $6 million. What?
So yeah, okay. I actually am looking at this. So they wanted to release it in the holidays for November '84. Test audiences found the film overlong, and the film was edited from 135 to 105 minutes for its North American release.
Oh my god! I'm looking at the movies in 1984 that came out. I cannot understand how some of the effects are this bad.
Terminator came out the same year as this movie.
Yeah, Terminator, number one movie of the year, Dune.
Yep.
I haven't seen that movie yet. With the announcement of this whole movie franchise that Bill Nueve is doing, I'm going to read the book and then go watch the movie.
Oh yes. Yeah, we talked about it in the last After Dark.
Yeah, read the book and see the movie then. But or watch the movie first and then read the book and be like, wow, they really fucked with this.
I feel
Either
like that.
way.
Yeah, but I'm actually doing what we're doing now and looking what else came out. Gremlins, Elm Street.
Ghostbusters was number 4, 16 Candles. Terminator was number 3. Footloose was number 6. Amadeus was 7.
All right. I gotta see something. I gotta see where this plays.
Oh my god. Hold on. Neverending Story was number 12. So this came out the same year. So at least they didn't rip off that scene. They're just doing this exact same thing.
No,
Oh,
it was just
Yeah.
it was a Volcano Dante's Peak situation.
Yeah.
It probably just took the set from Neverending Story and they just turned the heat up. The mud.
Actually, they snuck on the set of Neverending Story and did all these scenes. And
Okay,
then,
hold on.
it's the producers.
No.
Drunk Peter O'Toole there, even for scenes that he's put on.
There are
Peter O'Toole, in his drunken stupor, stumbled onto the set of the Neverending Story.
Yeah.
He just found him there, like, all right, shoot here. He's not moving. Give me my alcohol.
There are two movies in this year that I'm like, oh my god, this proves how bad this is, and also like how reminds me of this movie. So the same year, The Last Starfighter came out, which is an amazing movie.
That movie's great.
I love that movie.
Yes.
And right behind that was Conan the Destroyer,
Oh.
which I'm like, that actually makes a
Great.
lot of sense.
All right, I'm actually looking right now. What came out this same year? Buckaroo Banzai.
Fire.
Yeah, a
Body
lot of
Double.
great stuff came out this year, and it's just
Yeah.
Let's put a bullet in this movie.
Yeah. It's
let's shoot it.
Actually, can I put a giant?
This came out the same year as Star Trek. It came out the same year as Star Trek 3: The Search for Spock.
I'm actually gonna I'm bringing this out. This is probably the only time I ever do this. This movie is going in the movie dumpster. This is such a fucking bad movie. I wouldn't gift it to my worst enemy. I despise this film.
yeah.
I got no joy from this whatsoever.
I hate this more than Spawn, which I've always said.
It's absolutely.
That was our first movie special, and I've always said that's the movie I hate the most that we've had to do for this show.
I honestly,
There's
I was on the show.
more
at that point.
drivel. I know Connor today just released The Punisher, and I've seen the Dolph Lundgren Punisher, and that's bad.
I grew up on the Dolph Lundgren Punisher. That's
Same.
like I love Spawn. That Spawn movie is just for John Leguizamo's clown. That movie is watchable.
Yeah, I think I have to
but
do
it's
crap
still
out of Spawn.
That movie
The effects
has
haven't-
Martin goddamn Sheen in it.
the effects haven't aged well, but I think the crap out of Spawn.
It's not. I can't do it.
It's no like the '90s Captain America. Like the Punisher is
the
bad.
rubber
That
ears.
'90s Captain America. That is something we need to do.
With J.D. Salinger's son. In
Well,
it.
Oh man,
One of our rules is it has to be theatrically released, though. So it's.
I think that was.
It was theatrically released.
It was theatrical release.
Wait, that was a theatrical release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm looking
With
up
the
right now.
Italian Red Skull. Yeah.
Oh my
Supergirl,
God, yes.
no, it's a movie for no one. Like this movie was created for no one. I don't understand.
Like,
Go ahead.
Even if you're a diehard, and I mean a diehard DC Comics or Superman fan of any kind, avoid this movie.
Yeah.
And like,
you
movie
go ahead.
if it was a movie that was, if they were like aiming for women, you know what I mean? Like if they were making a movie where it's like, this is the superhero movie for women, and we're really gonna do what the 80s sexist guy thinks is a feminist movie. Even if they were doing that, I could at least appreciate that on some level of like,
Yeah.
There's elements of that movie, like, okay, having, female villain, that's a cool idea.
Right.
And Faye
Yeah.
Dunaway choose the scenery like no one's business.
But if
Yeah.
that was the whole movie, it would be at least interesting. It would be like a time capsule, but it's not.
No.
Well, there's like a lot of points in this movie. It's a time capsule for like the 60s and 70s and not the 80s.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the garb, like is this weird, flowy, post-hippie kind of disco-y look. But it's freaking 1984.
I'm still angry that the writer of The Dark Crystal did this.
As
You
much
know,
as that is, like
maybe-
it makes sense.
And maybe it didn't translate well to film. I don't know. Like maybe the script got butchered horribly while they were making it. I just
Yeah.
I don't know.
Again,
It's
like
the same-
you said in the chat, though, like this just gives me so much appreciation for what we have today.
yeah.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
damn, that Melissa Benoist show. Like as much
Oh,
as I like Helen Slater, like Melissa Benoist is that character. Everything they are giving to that
I
story
would
is
absolutely
amazing.
recommend to the audience listening, don't watch the movie. Go watch the show. The show is,
Yeah.
in fact, go watch the whole Arrowverse. Arrowverse is the DC universe everyone needs. Melissa Benoist, everyone involved in those shows, fantastic.
Yeah.
Ha! See, haters.
Especially season 1 of the season are fantastic Supergirl.
Yeah, they're giving 110%, and the writers actually care about. Well, for the most part, with the exception of the Thinker and Savitar
Well,
and some other people.
One of those
but they're-
writers isn't accused of being a little bit gropey.
Sure.
Pansy? Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, but
my God. I'm
but
sorry. Go ahead.
actors are giving 110%, and the writers and creators of the show actually care about DC Comics in their own way. So they actually care about continuity, or not even continuity, just continuity from the comics. Like they care about, like, hey, this character has this ability, so let's put them in this situation.
Right.
And
Even we're not going to adapt a storyline directly. We're going to take the important parts and
Well, what this makes me think of is, like, I really hope that they learn, like DC, Warner Brothers in general, learns the lessons that it's learned from Supergirl and translates it to its next, like, female lead show, which is Stargirl, which I think is supposed to come out this summer.
Stargirl summer or fall, and I think they're also doing the Batwoman show officially on CW.
The Batwoman show we've already gotten some stuff on. That's right. That'll come out first. Because I think that's a 2019 show.
Are they also doing a Supergirl movie, like set in the whatever they do?
Who knows? That's that was. I think that was pre-Aquaman.
That's been rumored for a while, so we'll see.
I thought I read something like during Aquaman's time, like right after Aquaman came out, they announced it or something.
I feel like there's enough love for Melissa Benoist that they're not going to do that, because I feel like there's way more love for her Supergirl than there is for Grant Gustin's Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think that Ezra Miller movie's happening anytime soon.
Oh, no. You mean the movie that had 17 writers and 16 different directors attached to it?
Yeah, the movie doesn't happen unless...
And I just read that the writers and directors right now are literally throwing out their old script and rewriting it again.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll believe there's a Flash movie when there's a Lobo movie and a Black Adam movie.
Yeah.
I'll believe a Flash movie when it's in front of my face.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what do we all think of this, or have we already established that?
I mean,
I do have to say,
we all hate this film.
I mean, guess from listening after almost 2 hours, this is one of the worst things we've ever seen.
we are still not quite as long as the movie is. So, but I would say that for the one thing we haven't talked about is the costume. I do think that the costume is, for this time period, awesome.
It's right.
She looks great.
Yeah,
like,
it's pretty good. I'll give you that.
For 1984, like compared to the Christopher Reeve Superman, she looks great.
Yeah. And yeah, like I was in the chat before that the mini skirt you see, I think came into the comics after this movie came out. So this movie gave anything, quote unquote, it's like one addition to the costume that people know now.
Yeah. That means that skirt is part of the character. And I do like it. I think the span, like, she looks great in it. It is a very, to quote, again, I'm going to pull my third reference to how did this get made for June. Like, this is a very wiggy movie. Like, I can see wig line all the time in this movie.
Mm-hmm. I think what's funny that I just read this somewhere is that before this movie came out and after this movie came out, I just found it a little interesting is that DC killed the Supergirl series they were working on 2 months before the film came out, and then killed off Supergirl in Crisis on Infinite Earths a year later.
Yeah, but that story is, like, huge in the mythos.
Well, yeah, no, I just didn't know anything with the movie bombing this badly. I just found it kind of a little interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like there was still enough of a disconnect from what was going on screen and what was going on in the comics. Like they had a very clear wall between the two of them.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
it's not like Marvel now, like being like, "Oh, we don't own FF. And there's an FF movie coming out. Cancel all the FF books."
I think if anything, this movie inspired them to make some of the changes that they made to Supergirl post Crisis. Yeah. I think that the fact that her origin up until this point was probably not known by anybody, and that the version of the origin that we know now is the version, basically. It's either she was frozen in ice or she showed up, as mostly an adult.
Like the CW origin, I consider it to be the definitive origin, but that's just me.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, in the comics, she was supposed to be sent to Earth before Cal, and her ship went off course, and she showed up much later.
Mm-hmm.
So can we just wrap up, because talking about this movie again just made me realize that I just want to go drink until I fall asleep.
Like Peter O'Toole.
Yes. I want to be sucked up into a tornado of whiskey.
Collar, I gotta.
Where's Kevin Costner again? I need to find him.
Carl, would you like a?
Have a score. No.
I'm Connor McGraw. Well, this actually might be my ghost. As I died during watching this movie. Fuck. I'm brain dead. Okay, Punisher's out for Movie Dumpster. We enjoyed it. We actually liked it. I don't think there's been a bad Punisher adaptation yet that's been truly unforgivable. Next week, we're doing Bleeders with Rutger Hauer. It's this bizarre little Swiss picture, I think. And somewhere along the lines, I'm going to be doing Blair Witch 2. Yay.
Ooh.
And of course, check out all season 1. Got some good stuff in there. Mortal Kombat Annihilation, Death Note, Frankenstein Unbound, where most of our jokes come from. So yeah, go check it out. I'm gonna go slit my wrists.
Your ghost wrists.
Yes. I'm so angry. I'm gonna kill myself in the afterlife.
He's gonna go slit the wrist of his dead body already. Yeah. Okay. What are my plugs? I don't know them anymore. Okay. Lost Horror podcast. Every single week. Most recent episode was our Oscar reactions episode with Cameron Dagg from the Untitled Queer podcast, joining that show, the larger Lost Horror podcast network, or Empire, as Lou likes to call it. So go listen to that or any of our previous shows, shows featuring Connor or Hunter, the all-time reigning champ on that show. No, not a challenge at all, Connor. Go listen to that or Monster Mash, show with me and Hunter that is monthly. We just did a Q&A episode. Some people on this very show got to ask questions, and we answered them. So go give that a
And some of us got told we're Krampus. Motherfuckers. I'm Erik Fedorchuk. You can find me on Instagram at Erik_Fedor. There's pictures of dogs and cats and comics and food. I'm floating around the Phantom Zone because literally that is where I banished myself after watching this movie, so I never have to stand a chance of watching it ever again.
You and Peter O'Toole are just squirting each other in the mouth.
That sounds 10 times better than having to sit through another 2 hours.
Erik, you want the sweat?
Just give it to me all, Peter. Just give it to me all.
Whiskey.
All over your face and chest.
I've been making whiskey out of my own piss.
The men's very quickly in the factory zone for some reason.
Very lonely and you're very soft.
I'm Luke Gonzalez. You can check me out on my million other podcasts I do with Alan, who's on a bunch of the Phantom Zone stuff. So Tuesdays we have And Now Comics, which anybody is welcome to talk about, or join us where we talk about current comic books. This last week we did a best of face and heel turns, which, if you could guess, the number one was Superboy Prime. And that's Thursdays. Tuesdays, we do Smallville Chronicles, where we are rewatching Smallville. We are just into the beginning of season 3. And in between every season, we do a couple of cool bonus episodes, which this movie is worse than one of the things I thought was the worst I ever saw, which was that Wonder Woman pilot.
Oh, the Adrian Palicki one?
Yeah, the Adrian Palicki with Carrie Ellis.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
This is worse. That was bad. This was worse.
Yeah, this is pretty bad.
And basically about every other week, me and Alan, along with either Gary or John, do Legion of Tunes, where we are watching random cartoons. The next one we have coming out is Prince of Egypt, the crazy animated version of the Moses story that has probably the greatest animated cast of all time.
Steve Martin and Martin amazing.
I'm sorry, I did not hear you.
No, I said Steve Martin and Martin Short's song is like the best part of that movie.
Yes, and the cast is absolutely insane. And then just to help Alan out, and also is doing a show for the Lost Horror podcast Empire, which is Lost Horror Games, which comes out every Sunday or Monday. It is, and if you're into gaming, go check that out. Search Lost Horror Podcast. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to all of the podcasts, and let people know. Share with friends. You never know when you might be a guest like John on a podcast. So you get to watch a
fan of our stuff. We just hey, shot here, so I'm happy about that. Thank you, gentlemen.
Oh, no problem. Anytime. Yeah.
I was about a year ago. I guested on a Jessica Jones episode.
Yeah, you had wanted me to. I couldn't make it because I was at work at that time or something like that.
Yeah,
and we've talked about having you on CW multiple times. It's just it hasn't panned out for whatever reason.
God. I will gladly come when Crisis on Infinite Earths drops or something like that.
Yeah, I guested on an episode, and now I have 7 podcasts that I do and edit.
Yeah, that glorious Phantom Zone touch.
Yes.
All right, get the
do you have plugs?
All right, I'm Jon Scott. Do I plug anything or no?
You don't have to if you don't want to.
Okay, I was gonna say because I have a friend's superhero podcast I want to give a shout out. Is that all right?
Sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
How dare you? All right, my buddy Dan.
How dare you shout out a competitor podcast?
My buddy's just starting out. That's why I wasn't sure if that was an A-OK or not.
No, it's fine. Yeah. Well,
Okay. My buddy Dan and his brother are two of the biggest DC comic book fans I've ever known. They started a podcast where they are going through the whole DC multiverse. They are talking about characters and their essential stories and what you should listen to, and their whole energy is just infectious. Excuse me. So yeah, just give them a listen. I'm giving them a shout out. They're at DC Super Sons on Twitter, and I'm somewhere in the Phantom Zone because my ghost is also dead from this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Come join us.
Join us in the beautiful
Square. I'm not doing my bye. I'm just gonna do.
all of it grumble.
This movie was a plot by the CIA to bring
Mother Monday.
Oh god.
Stupid boy.